Welcome. We will get started. We were waiting to have enough board members to get going so that we could begin. So we're going to go ahead and do a roll call vote. Sarah Rill is excused. So Randy Booth.
I'm here.
Christina Bogus.
Yes, ma'am.
Natalie Klein.
Yes.
Cindy Davis. Jenny Earl, I'm here. And Emily Green. Vice Chair Hart. Joseph Carey. Leanne Wood. Sorry, I guess I could be saying board member, right? Board member Hymas. Here. Board member Lear. Here. Chair Moss.
Here.
Board member Norton.
Here.
Board member Straight.
Yes.
Okay, and that, what does that give us number-wise? Are we at 9? Okay, so that gives us 9. As we have people join, we'll kind of let the public know. 10. Okay, thank you. We are going to go ahead and get started today. We're going to turn the time over. Oh, I have to read this. As authorized by Utah Code 52.4, this meeting is being held electronically with an anchor location at the State Board of Education offices. The public may also attend electronically. We're going to go ahead and turn the time over to Superintendent Coleman. And do you want to click his? Oh, no, it's already on.
Thank you. We will start with a contract for you to approve for Brackenwood Consulting. This is a software package that they're already the provider for this particular use in USIMAC to produce Braille and large print materials there. And this contract includes customization as we go on. Every year, frankly, we have several items that we need them to improve or add on to their software package to do that. And so that's a layperson's explanation. Mr. Empey, did I leave anything out that's important there?
Well, I think Board Member Wood had a good question. Wanted us to just discuss why this is a sole source. We did a competitive RFP, request for proposal procurement, back in 2019 for this service. Brackenwood was one of 3 vendors that submitted a proposal. As the committee reviewed it, they had the best proposal, so the award was extended to them, and they've been under contract. It's now time to renew the contract. And this is a sole source because they had to actually write the code to do all the programming and the automation that USIMAC needed. And so that's the reason why this is a sole source contract. So if there's any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
Let's take a look. Do you have any hands online? Oh, Board Member Wood, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't have a question. I just wanted to make a comment. I had the opportunity with Superintendent Patton to tour the USIMAC facilities, and I have to say every book or resource that is provided to our students who are blind or visually impaired is a labor of love. It is amazing. So if you haven't been up there, go and see.
Anyone online? I would echo that same thing. I've gone and done the tour and broke down how they go about doing books and everything. So it's a pretty incredible process. So, okay, I'm looking for a motion then. Board Member Wood.
Trying to find the language. Maybe it's on there. No. Okay.
No, not yet.
All right. Oh. I move that the board approve the Brackenwood Consulting LLC contract.
Okay, the motion before the board. Oh, do I have a second? Excuse me. The motion before the board is, oh, yes. Okay, any comments to that? Did you want to, I think we already did, but, okay. The motion before the board is that is requested that the board review and approve the Brackenwood Consulting LLC contract. Okay, we will go ahead and take a vote on that. Board Member Booth.
Yes.
All right. Board Member Bogus? I don't know if we can do, we can't do, we're going to have to do a roll call because we have so many online. Wow, motion to adjourn. What happened here? You asked for me to be in charge and that quick, we're gone.
Oh, wait, I have another motion.
Okay, wow, interesting. Okay, we'll start again here. So, Board Member Booth?
Yes.
Yes. Bogus?
Yes.
Board Member Klein?
Yes.
Board Member Davis? She did? Okay.
Yes.
Board Member Davis, do you know where we're at on the agenda? And I'm happy to fill you in.
I'm reading it on the screen.
Okay. I'll come back to you. Vice Chair Earl is a yes. Board Member Green, don't think we have her, right? Okay. Vice Chair Hart? Board Member Carey? Board Member Wood?
Yes.
Board Member Hymas?
Yes.
Board Member Lear?
Yes.
Board Member, Chair Moss?
Yes.
Board Member Norton?
Yes.
Board Member Straight?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't track vote numbers. It was unanimous, but
Financial report. The Public Ed Appropriations Committee addressed two items for us this morning. One was the audiology van, and another one was a pickup truck for our Salt Lake campus that we can put a snowplow blade on. We've been working with the Legislative Fiscal Analyst Office for about 9 months. We have to get state approval. We first have to get your approval to proceed. It's on the carry forward list to purchase the vehicles. Then we have to go to the legislature and get their approval, which state fleet requires before they go out and purchase the vehicles on our behalf. So this morning, they addressed both the audiology van. If you remember, we are having one built right now. We just saw pictures. It actually is being built. And after the last 2 years, that's a miracle. And so this will be a second new audiology van that will be requested in May once the governor signs the bill. The other is the pickup truck. We're having to contract. We've got just a little golf cart that we put a plow on, but once a heavy snowstorm, it doesn't work for the Salt Lake campus. So we've had to contract that this year, and it's about $30,000 just for snow removal for this winter. So we can buy a truck for that amount and keep it for years. So it's a good use of money. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention that the PEA this morning did have that discussion. The financial report is for the 6 months that ended December 31st. All is well on our finances. We remain financially viable. We've got plenty of cash on hand to pay our bills. The revenues and inflows of cash for the 6 months totaled $25.9 million. Our expenses were $22.5 million, giving us a surplus of $3.4 million. And that is just about the amount of the 2 extra pay periods. Each payroll every 2 weeks is about $1.5 million. And we get advanced that money by the state on monthly disbursement of our appropriations. So we're setting that money aside for future payroll. The number of students that we served as of the end of December were 339 on our campus. The students receiving services was 2,154, and total services being provided to students totaled 4,346. Oh, 5,221. Thank you, Dr. Tanner. So you can see the growth in our students and services being provided since the first of the academic year. Our land grant enrichment fund balance totaled $564,000, and I'm just rounding again. Our donated funds, $303,000, and our education foundation balance is just about $1.1 million. The next 2 pages is the budget summary report that gives all the supporting detail of the numbers that we just reviewed on the financial report. The next report is the enrichment funds. And we have, of the $1,051,000 that was approved back last May, we spent $442,445, giving us a balance of $609,155 to spend before the end of the year. So, Madam Chair, that is my financial report. I'd be happy to answer any questions that any of you may have.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions online? Any hands up? Okay. And I don't see any in the boardroom either. So are you on to a next item? Or are we on to, we're back to you, Joel, our Superintendent Coleman.
Thank you. Our division report today is about the expanded core curriculum. We call that the ECC in the blind school, and we'll just let Superintendent Patton take it from here.
Well, good afternoon. I'm excited to show you a video of our expanded core curriculum. It's not a division, but more of a department. And remember, the expanded core curriculum are 9 areas of curriculum in addition to the core curriculum that is needed for our blind, visually impaired, and deafblind students to know and to have concepts in so that they can be productive in their life. So with that, they do a great job in explaining it. There might be times during the video where they just say ECC, but they're referring to the expanded core curriculum when they are saying that.
My favorite, which is why I'm teaching this one, because it's all about the expanded core curriculum.
My name is Kathy Bingham. I am an expanded core educator here at the Utah School for the Blind, and I work primarily with students in outreach. So our sense of vision is like our primary means of taking in information for our environment around us. So if you have a vision impairment, or if a student has a vision impairment, then they either won't be able to take that information in at all if they have no vision, or they may have fragmented parts, because some vision impairments, maybe they can only see what's directly in front of them, but they can't see in the periphery, or they may possibly not be able to see directly in front of them, but they can only see what's in the periphery, or maybe they won't be able to see the details of what's around them. So they're getting a fragmented picture of their environment and their world around them. Think of everything in our world around us, and if I have a fragmented view of that, I need to be explicitly taught all of that.
My name is Becky Weeks, and I am the Expanded Core Curriculum Coordinator. So the Expanded Core is actually 9 areas. And remember, it's a disability-specific curriculum, so they've taken these 9 areas that have components. So there's access areas. And in the access areas, we have compensatory, sensory efficiency, and assistive technology, right? Those are your access skills. Then we go on to community readiness, and those areas are orientation and mobility, self-determination, and career education. You can see how those complement each other out in the community, right? And then the last group of 3 are the independent living skills areas, and they are recreation and leisure, independent living skills, and social interaction.
I have a program called Short-Term Program on Location, and it's designed for students that are 8 to 12. I hold them at 5 different areas across the state. So we meet in Logan, we meet in Ogden, we meet in Tooele, we meet in Salt Lake, and we meet in Springville. One of the great things about my job is I get to work with students and I get to teach them skills that the parents don't know that they have, and they don't know that they've learned that skill. So I can think of one student that was in my cooking class, and she had learned to use the George Foreman grill. She can cook hamburgers on it. She can heat it up, put put it on, cook it, time it, take it off independently. And her mom happened to come. And I was so excited because I love, one of the best parts of my job is sharing what the students can do with parents. And I said, oh my goodness, you will not believe what Cammie can do. Cammie can cook meat on a George Foreman grill. And she's like, what, really? So now she can be cooking at home with her family. Knowing leads to doing. So once we know something, then we can do it. However, as we do it, that can also lead to more knowing. And that's kind of a theme for us as we have evolved our programs here at USB.
The families themselves, the parents, they love to come together and be together to talk about things and share their experiences. I can think of one family that, it's a successful activity in the summer when a family drives from St. George to Farmington to come to an activity that's a family activity for Utah Schools for the Blind so that they can be with other families and bring their child to be with other children who have visual impairments. And they make friends, and it's great now. With all of the technology, people are keeping in touch.
So the social component is probably the biggest benefit our students get from the programs. Then we get icing on the cake because we get to learn all of these other skills as well. We get to learn our independent living skills, and we get to focus on very specific skills in our community. And I also need career education. The employment rate for individuals with vision impairment is only about 10 to 20%. So we need to work with our students to help give them those career education skills so they can go out and beat that statistic and be employed.
So as you can see, our educators and coordinator they're very passionate about what they do. They are in charge of organizing and executing the expanded core curriculum activities, and those happen at least once a month and targeted different populations or different age groups. We're starting one next month, actually tomorrow. It's already February, so I've been saying next month, but it's already February, where we're doing kids from age 4 to 8. So we're getting those kids who are younger than age 8, and we're having their families come to the Discovery Museum, and we're going to be doing some science lessons there and different expanded core curriculum activities there, and that will be on a monthly basis. We then do another one called the Teen Escape, and that is primarily for teenagers, and they're involved in different activities that are again teaching those expanded core curriculum skills. Our goal at the School for the Blind, and when I say expanded core curriculum, this is a statewide program. This is not just for kids who are attending school on our campus or kids who are receiving services from USDB as far as a teacher of the visually impaired, an orientation mobility instructor, or a teacher of the deaf-blind. It doesn't matter what district they live in. It doesn't matter if they're in a charter school, it's a large school district. It is, we're wanting all students to participate, and we try very hard to make sure that we're publicizing that in a way that we get we maximize that. And if we have an activity where we have so many, then we have to make adaptations and make sure that we're incorporating everything for those students to attend. It's a very successful program. It's an ever-evolving program, and it's just really exciting. It's one that if I had my choice for you to ever experience, it would be an expanded core curriculum activity. They are amazing. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, do we have any questions from any board members? Board Member Lear?
I just wondered how many individuals you usually get to those expanded activities.
You know, I can't answer that because it's so different with every activity, but I'm more than happy to send you some of the list of as far as the last year of how many we've had, because we do have a record of that.
Can you estimate, do you get between 20 and 60?
Yeah,
or between
I would
50
say
and 100?
about 30 students.
Students plus some families.
Well, yeah, so that would be students, but for our Teen Escape, those aren't parents don't come to our Teen Escape, but I would say we have between 20 and 30 students coming for our Teen Escape. For the family activities, we have more than that. So I would say we would have probably about 40 families that are coming to that. And it also, and again, that's a guesstimate.
No,
so
I'm not holding you to it.
I really can send more information, but our educator, our Kathy Bingham, she was saying that we're moving those to location specific, and you'll notice we haven't had one in the St. George area, and that's the next piece is central Utah and southern Utah. We do have camps that we're doing in the summer, and those are also specific to different parts of the state, so we can make sure that people have access to that. Because it's a lot more for somebody in St. George to come up to an activity in Ogden. So anyway, we're doing our best.
Thanks for guessing. Or guesstimating.
Yeah.
I think it's a really
member Laird?
great component.
Yeah, we
I
just
think
got to be
it's a-
able to.
Sorry, I think it's a really great component of your program.
And those are the
Thanks.
numbers that I've seen. So the activities that I've been at.
Okay, thank you. Are there any hands online? No hands online. Okay. All right, and we'll turn the time back to Superintendent Coleman.
Thank you. Before I jump into my report, board members, I just feel compelled to say something about the expanded core curriculum. When I first came to no battery.
You're just slide that over. Just slide Jill's over just a second. Yeah, then we'll. Oh, it came out. Oh, it came out. Here, I got to use my.
Thanks. Anyway, I was about to just bear my witness to the awesomeness of the expanded core curriculum. Actually, when I came to USDB, there was so much that I was learning being a guy from the outside, but one of the things that I think you've probably heard me say this before, one of the things that struck me and that I come back to the longer I'm in this position is IDEA is like the perfect model for educating children, students. If we could do this type of thing with every student, and I keep seeing these parallels, it would just be a different system altogether. Obviously, that's not sustainable financially, but the ECC is a great example. The portrait of a graduate that you developed is based on the same principle as the expanded core curriculum, where we've got our academics, and that's what we measure, and that's what we evaluate everything in the system on just about. But there's so much more to students that they need in this world. And it's not just the blind students. I wish we had an expanded core for general education students. And we kind of do now that you've put the portrait concept out there so that LEAs can start to think, what do they really need to be successful out in the world? The School for the Deaf has something similar, but it's not labeled the expanded core curriculum. And when each of the schools developed their own portrait, the deaf school and the blind school, it was a really enjoyable thing. And most of the blind school portrait of a graduate is centered around the expanded core curriculum. But anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you because every time I watch this, I think, well, blind kids aren't the only ones that need some social skills, right? And for what it's worth. Anyway, okay, so here's my superintendent report for today. It's not very much. The first is just a legislative update, which you may already be aware of, but I'll put it on the record anyway. We went in front of the Public Ed Appropriations Committee last week on the 19th. Was that last week or the week before? On the 19th of January, we went in front of the Public Ed Appropriations Committee and gave them our annual report, went through those and talked about financial things. They had told us the night before the LFAs were going to recommend taking $5 million out of our bank account. After the Public Ed Appropriations meeting, they decided to take $1 million, $1.5 million. We'll know this weekend probably the exact number, and that will not jeopardize any of our programs or current contracts or encumbered projects that are out there. So that's going to be okay. Another thing that I thought I would share with you. Actually, Mr. Empey already did that about the truck and the audiology van. So that's good news. That was just approved this morning. And we're still working with the HOK group that's here. They've had a second visit now with USDB, coming to our state and going through to do the cultural and just turning over every rock at USDB before they give a recommendation about facilities. And they will travel here at least once, maybe twice more, probably two. Okay. And so that's going actually really, really well. There's an effect of having them there, interviewing everybody, parents, students, staff members, and it's been kind of nice in a way for people to be able to tell their story to a completely different independent third party, and it's helpful for us too. So we're glad that that's happening, and that's all I had for today. Other than we're just keeping our eyes on every single thing that happens up on the Hill. So Superintendent Tanner and Superintendent Patton, if you have anything else, this is probably a good time for you to share it with the board.
This is Superintendent Tanner. I have just a quick update. On February 25th through the 29th is when we have our USD, the School for the Deaf accreditation. This is where we have somebody who really understands deaf education. Individuals who, we submitted a 165-page self-study document that included focus groups with parents, students, groups of staff members. We worked together to create and complete the 12 different standards to say we're at and what are the things we're doing well, what things we thought we could improve upon. Then we have that validated when they come February 25th through 29th. They will want to meet with board members. So I will send that invitation out, and I've asked them that it be on Zoom because I appreciate your time. So hopefully you guys can attend that when that invitation comes out. We really would love your feedback. And that's my update.
And I just have two things I just wanted to mention. You did receive all of the ongoings of the School for the Blind in the memo that you were emailed. But two things I wanted to make you aware of that is happening. We are asking we're going to develop a committee of teachers of the visually impaired to help us with some professional development for next year and to plan that. And that has been a request of teachers of the visually impaired throughout the state. So we're taking some teachers from USDB and other district TVIs and developing that so that we can meet those needs. Also, we've sent a survey out to all teachers of the visually impaired to look at some of the enrichment activities, some of those expanded core activities that we have been doing. We'd like their input as well to make sure that we're meeting the needs of their students that they're seeing. They know those individual needs. So I wanted you to be aware of that because that has been two things that have been requested from some of our stakeholders. So that's all mine.
Go ahead.
And that's the end of our superintendent report.
Okay.
We've just gotten done a half an hour early for you.
Well, sure that'll be the rest of the day, right? For that set of precedents there. Thank you, Jill. We appreciate you coming, all of you, and the hard work you do for the kids in the state of Utah and their families. So thank you. And we'll excuse you guys unless there's anything else. I don't see any hands or anything. Okay, I guess we're a half hour early, but we're taking a 5-minute break.
5-minute break.
Okay, that's what I'm wondering. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do we have still people online? Okay, we're ready to get started in the afternoon. And Angie, Deputy Superintendent Stallings, are you up? Okay, well, I thought. Oh, we had it ordered as, yeah, we probably need to do consent calendar. It's ordered this way. Do we need to make a motion to adjust the order? Oh, I see. Yeah, we don't want to end up with not being able to do. Yeah, let's go ahead with the agenda the way it's set, and then, I don't know if we lose people, you guys don't leave. Or at least let us know if you got to head out so that we can end early. I know Matt's got to leave at 4 o'clock, so we'll need to get to the consent calendar before then. Matt has to leave. I'm just saying we need to make sure we have enough to complete the consent calendar. We'll start on our agenda. If we think we're going to lose people, then we'll, yeah. You have to leave at 3? Oh, okay. Okay, so if we get, Board Member Lair. Yeah, that's yeah. Okay, perfect. Deputy Superintendent Scott Jones is going to start us with our funding. So the monthly budget, is that where you're talking, or with legislative?
Okay, Madam Chair, members of the board, Deputy Superintendent of Operations Scott Jones. I can start with the monthly budget report at your direction.
No, go ahead with where.
Well, if we can pull it up.
Sorry, ma'am. I lost internet, so I can't bring up this report.
Yeah, I did too. So hang on a sec. Sorry. Oh, here we go. Angie got it. Yeah,
So I'm just getting word. Kristen Norton has indicated she has to leave at 3:30. So we're gonna do these things up until about 2:30, and then we'll go with anything we have to take action on, and then we can come back to other items. So go ahead. I'm not saying race through it. I'm just saying we need to get to the ones we need to have. Okay. Oh, perfect. Thank you.
The Utah State. Go ahead, ma'am. Yeah, we're good now. I'm good. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Utah. The Utah State Board, did I already say my name? I said my name. Deputy Superintendent of Operations Scott Jones. This is the monthly budget report. We provide this for the board, not only board members, but also the public. I can attest that the Utah State Board of Education is fiscally sound. We can meet all of our commitments and obligations. As you see here is the report. This is quite a lengthy report. Our plan was, if we had got to this yesterday, was to show you the new format that this will be in, or the new format we'll be presenting starting next month. So what we'll do at your direction, ma'am, is just forgo that because I don't have Deborah here and Sue Mack's not available. So if we can just, not do that this month and just go ahead and move that to next month, that being the demonstration of the new format. Much more user-friendly. Don't have to scroll through so many pages to see the budget, that type of thing. So we'll just defer that to next month if that's okay, Madam Chair. Okay. So subject to any questions or concerns with the monthly budget report, I can segue to the discretionary report at your direction.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, if we could pull that up. So I know there's been, from my vantage point as your comptroller, I really appreciate all of the interest in using these funds allowably and appropriately. We've done a lot of work together on that, and it does not go unnoticed. The legislature the legislative fiscal analysts track our balances really well. So this is the COVID presentation. There should be a discretionary funds report in there, isn't there? Like, for the back. Oh, no, you're fine. That's okay. This is an integral part of it, but I usually go discretionary and then just make a note that this is in there for the board members. Perfect. You don't have the discretionary funds report, ma'am? Through the chair? Oh, that's why. Okay.
Okay.
For board members who may be online, okay. All right.
Of the backup didn't pull over, so you have to go to the February 1st to get the backup.
So it's there, but it's just on yesterday's agenda.
Yes, it's there. It's just on yesterday's meeting.
Okay. All right. Well, I can still do the discretionary funds report. On the upper right-hand corner is the available funds. Today in Finance Committee, there was a request for use of those funds. So next month, if the board passes that recommendation from the Finance Committee, of course, we'll update that. So any questions or subject to any questions or concerns, this completes the discretionary funds portion.
Can you tell us what that funding was requested for?
Yes, ma'am. So there was an agenda item in Finance Committee for consideration of the Finance Committee for the board to award bonuses to our staff. I wasn't in the Finance Committee, but my understanding is the Finance Committee passed it out with a favorable recommendation. I think it was 4-0. So then it comes before you in front of the whole board. If you approve the Finance Committee recommendations, then that source of funding is from the tax delay funds. Subject to, of course, we wouldn't do anything without the board's direction. So
yeah, that'll come before us next month, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And I just want to point out from or just if I may, respectfully remind everyone that the process is for all requests for use of these funds to go through the Finance Committee. Once it goes through the once the requests are made for any use of the available funds in the upper right-hand corner, then depending on what the Finance Committee recommends or approves, then that's the next month typically. This month there was a continuation of the December Finance Committee where motions were made that came in front of in December. Motions were made in December in the Finance Committee related to use of discretionary funds. The board heard those in your January meeting, but due to time constraints, it was moved to this month. And so that's why that trail or that process takes place. But again, I just want to make sure everybody's aware that you can come to us at any time and make a request for consideration of use of these funds for research, for projects, and you can see the status of all the projects that you've approved in the past in the main body of this particular backup. Subject to any questions or concerns, Madam Chair, that concludes the discretionary funds portion.
Okay. Are there any, let me check
sorry.
real quick, any
Yeah,
questions
sure.
or anything? Any online? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so then the last piece in the backups is, of course, the CARES Act COVID funding update. There's not a detailed drill down or presentation this month, but we do want to make sure that you're aware and that the public is aware that that's the latest and greatest from our great staff, fantastic staff that's been just on top of this. Lots of kudos from the auditors. I think there's some more reports coming out in the future, but we anticipate some very favorable findings on how well we manage and control these funds. Subject to any questions on that particular portion of the monthly budget report, that concludes my overall report to the board.
All right, Board Member Lair, do you have a
Sorry,
question?
I just can't find the CARES Act stuff. Did that have to be pulled over? I'm looking in yesterday's agenda. And
Go ahead and click on it.
I'm looking there. I'm just trying to figure out. There's that.
Okay, Board Member Bogus, do you have a question?
Yes, through the chair, ma'am, I would love it if Superintendent Jones could tell us, and maybe now is not the appropriate time, so I'm asking a little bit. I've received some constituent questions about the rolling up, the rolling down. That really doesn't affect this. That needs to be saved for the legislative part. Is that what my understanding? Okay, then I'm going to save that question until later.
Perfect. Board Member Lair, do you have a question now?
No.
Okay, perfect. Okay. That's it. All right. Angie, are we back to you?
Okay.
I think she's.
Okay, great. The next item, we were just going to give an update quickly on some information related to the Public Education Appropriations Subcommittee work. There are 2 documents that are additional information prepared by staff related to the early literacy program and the Beverly Taylor Sorensen arts program with updated information since this last week. If you have questions about the information that's there in backup, you can ask any of us as well as the staff over those programs. And then also today, Deputy Jones, Superintendent, and I believe Chair Moss all attended PEA, and there's some information that is either in the backup now or will be there shortly. And I didn't know if you wanted to give any comments on that.
I can. Related to what you're seeing in the early literacy or in the backups related to early literacy, today in PEA, there was further recommendations that the administrative portion of the early literacy funds do it. It's public, it's out there. And this goes to Board Member Box's, through you, ma'am, question about rolling up, rolling down, all these types of things, which we can get to as soon as we pull the backups up on these different programs. So I would just add that for particular information to the board on the status of that particular funding being rolled up into the at-risk student add-on. So
Okay. Do you have an additional question, Board Member Bogus, or is that this would be the
I
appropriate
think
time?
so, yeah. Oh, okay. I'm not sure where.
Oh, fine. Okay, sir. So I got a phone call actually just over lunch, and if I recall correctly, we're looking at $126 million somewhere. It's just not there to balance the budget. And is that a true statement?
Madam Chair, if I may. So the amount was done for the year-end close. Where we're getting or hearing the minus 126 million was a year-end close, and then the estimates for the income tax fund came in lower. It doesn't mean so now there's another revenue report that's going to come out probably next week. So that could be offset by additional income tax proceeds that we haven't seen yet. But we did start at you close right, then you begin the next fiscal year right. But then because the legislature is bound to balance the budget by the way of the Constitution, then they have to look at potentially moving money up into the basic program to continue funding that. Just related specifically to, I would offer this through the chair, is related specifically to the at-risk student add-on. It is in the law that the legislature has to increase that by 1 increment. And 1 increment costs $25 million. So their proposal, which we've tracked and done pretty well with keeping pace with them, was to look at these related to basic programs like early literacy to see if they could, and I'm just using that as a small part of the overall question that Board Member Bogus is asking, is that they have to make sure first and foremost that they fund what legally they have to fund, and then overall the budget balances. What I don't know, or what I don't see, or what none of our staff sees, is what's going on the other side of the budget with the general fund and all those pieces and parts that have to take place there in order to get to what right is with balancing the budget. But yes, there was a negative 126 million starting point, which would imply that there has to be some methodologies used to create a balanced budget. Yes. Oh, sorry.
Okay, so the math, through the chair, I would ask, is now the appropriate time to make my motion? Is that, or is that a different agenda item?
I mean, it's up to the chair, but I do know what your motion is, so I would recommend you do. I think it's appropriate, but it has to be, directed through the chair, ma'am. Yes.
So with your permission, Chair.
Yes, I'm just trying to make sure. Is that where we're at on the agenda? Would this be
her motion relates to
potential
the
actions?
WPU, percentage. I mean, it is
Oh,
an
okay.
action
Yep.
item.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
I think if we're
related to
there,
your
let's
request.
go ahead and
I mean,
make that then.
So I move that the board adjust their WPU request to 6% and to direct staff to fervently work and advocate for the retention of the traditional BTS funding model, acknowledging that the legislature is in a tenuous situation and showing our good faith effort
do you want to get a second?
engage.
That's the whole motion?
Oh, I
Tenuous
guess
situation and
the
engaging in
not tenuous situation. The motion would be that the board adjust their WPU request to 6% and to direct staff to fervently advocate for the retention of the traditional BTS funding model.
Okay.
And then I would.
Now, would you like to?
Thanks. So
Fervently.
I, at the risk of repeating myself, which some people say I do, and I don't think I do, but some people think that, I would just offer that it is very clear that they're dealing with money problems, if you will. And I think that the PEA and the meetings that we've observed and the minutes that have come out show that we need to advocate in a way that says we're willing to acknowledge their stresses, but that this funding model is really, really important to us. And I don't think we can do that unless we acknowledge the tenuous situation that they are in, because they're trying to find money. And it is going to hurt our LEAs. It's going to hurt our BTS program. It's going to cause people to lose their jobs in different districts. Programs are going to get cut because the money's just not there with the way this new funding model is. So that is my motion. If anyone else has anything to say, that's fine with me. Thank you, Chair.
Can you check the motion to make sure it's accurate?
And describe what fervently would look like for staff.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Is this correct?
Yes.
Okay.
If I may,
Yes,
Madam Chair,
please.
I think Chair Moss would validate this as well. We were told early on this is a tight year, and that we do need to look at these. The timing couldn't be better for this motion for your consideration. I'm not advocating or doing anything either way, because the last meeting for PEA is on Tuesday, and that's when the PEA is going to make their motions to make recommendations on how much a percentage of the WPU, all these types of things. So the motion is timely. It's just a matter of the board, because if you do pass this, we would communicate to the LFA that the board has changed their, not your priority. Your number one priority is the WPU, but the percentage that you
Right.
originally asked for. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and take any comments to this. Chair Moss, do you have a comment?
Yeah, question. So we have been advocating for the position that the board took, which was three things: to preserve for now the existing funding model, complete the study that was being done on barriers to expansion, and to use new money to help expand the program. So would this be a change in that last part? So that's been the discussion we've had, and it sounds like this is consistent with what the prior motion was that I think came out of the group. Okay, gotcha. Well, I think you did. Go ahead. Yeah, I'm just confirming. I don't see this as a change from.
So I would ask that if Superintendent Jones disagrees with me, that he clarify as much, but I don't see it in conflict. What I understand to be coming out of PEA is there is kind of a staunch dig in your heels response that they want to change this funding model, and we're not making much headway, and the change in the funding model is extremely detrimental to the program. The data bears that out. And I think as a board, we need to send the message that this is important to us. And we understand the budget issues, we understand the dollars and cents, and this is important enough to us that we are willing to engage in these conversations differently.
Can I follow up? Oh, I guess I can follow up. There's nobody to ask. I support the motion. I think it's a good idea. I think it reflects the acceptance of the budget realities, and that's kind of been our approach all along. These are the things that we as a board decided are in the best interest of Utah students, and to the extent there's money there, this is where it ought to go. I think, but your suggestion on WPU is kind of giving that acceptance while prioritizing the things that we feel strongly about. So we've been making that case and discussing kind of some of the harm that could come from the proposed changes to the BTS. And I was up with Lisa Clough I don't know, seems like a year ago. I think it was Tuesday, Tuesday, making that case. So thank you. Yeah, I support the motion.
Okay, all right. Cindy does. Board Member Davis, do you have a question or comment to this motion?
Yes, thank you. I move to divide the motion.
Okay, there is a motion to divide the motion. Is there a second? Board Member Lear has a second. And I guess we'll vote on the divide. Is there, well, we probably, because there are people online, right? Can I do an objection? If there's no objection? Oh, we have to roll call vote because we've got online. Okay, thank you. All right. It's not just, it's online, we have significant people online, right? Yep. My apologies. Fervently significant people. We'll go ahead and start. Did Board Member Real join us? Okay, so Board Member Real, are you for dividing? What's that? Okay. Okay, so that once again, let me just repeat the motion. The motion is to divide the two pieces here. We have, the one is to, that the board adjust the amount of the WPU priority legislative request to 6%, and the other would be direct staff to fervently advocate for the traditional BTS funding model. Right. Okay. So this is to divide the motion. Board Member Rill.
Yes.
Board Member Booth.
Yes.
Board Member Bogus. No. Board Member to divide. Yes. Okay. Board Member Klein. Klein.
No.
Okay. Board Member Davis.
Yes.
Board Member Earls, yes. Board Member Green. Is Green with us?
No.
Oh, yep, she is. Good. Okay, Board Member Hart.
Yes.
Board Member Carey.
No.
No. Board Member Wood.
Yes.
Board Member Hymas.
Yes.
Board Member Lear.
Yes.
Board Member Moss. Chair Moss. No. Board Member Norton.
Yes.
Yes. Board Member Straight.
Yes.
Yes. And I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 no's. Is that what you have? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 yeses. Do we have everyone? It sounds like we have everybody here now. Okay. Okay. So the no votes were Board Member Bogus, Board Member Klein, Board Member Green, Board Member Carey, and Board Member Moss. And then, so that it's been divided, we'll go ahead and take the first one. Is there any other discussion of this? The motion is that the board adjust the amount of the board's WPU priority legislative request to 6%. And I'll take any comments that, Board Member Lear, are you speaking to that?
I can. Yes, I can. I really left my mic on, but I wondered first. I had kind of a two-part comment. One first is a question. I wasn't able to meet to go to the USBA meeting today, and I wanted to hear if and be reminded if USBA had asked for an 8% WPU increase. That's what I remembered. Am I remembering wrong? Brent, do you know? 10 total, but 8 plus 2, wasn't it?
Ma'am.
Yeah, please.
So the inflationary increase is 3.8%. So it would have been the difference of 10% and 3.8%.
Okay.
Yeah, 6.2.
All right. So that was my first part of the question. Second part was, I'm hearing talk of a tax cut. I'm hearing talk of a proposed tax cut. I'm also hearing talk of a request for $150 million for a program that hasn't yet begun. So I am reluctant to start adjusting, at least in terms of my vote, a request to fund basic public education from what our LEAs say we need, as long as that talk continues. I'm not as sympathetic to pleas of money is tight when there's equal talk of a tax cut and $150 million for a private school program that hasn't even begun. So my vote would be no.
Okay, thank you. Board Member Straight, I think your hand's up.
Yeah. do we have updated numbers?
What does that mean? Are you asking?
Well, so it's always time between when we do our requests and then we start getting numbers. The legislature, their fiscal analysts start giving us numbers of where we're at. There's always then a last minute update and before they adjourn. But other than the fact that we have a shortfall in revenue projections, do we know what the new numbers are before we?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
we do
Hopefully
not.
okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
That's all right.
We don't have any updated numbers. They'll come out next week or very early the week after that. So PEA makes their motions. All the subcommittees make their motions and then, pull them up to EAC. It's really in EAC where we get the updates on the revenue status. So the answer to Board Member Straight's question is no, I do not have updated revenue numbers at this point, if that's the question he's asking, ma'am. Soon though. Soon.
Okay, thank you. Board Member Carey?
Yeah, I'd like to make a substitute
Go ahead. Board Member Straight, are you finished?
I guess so.
If you go ahead and finish if you have something additional that you wanted to add. Okay.
No, I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Board Member Carey?
Yeah, I'd like to make a substitute motion, and that would be that this matter be postponed until our next legislative board meeting, so it can be considered in conjunction with the updated numbers.
Okay. Okay, so the substitute motion, do we have a second?
I'll second it with a question.
I don't think we can wait that long.
That's my question.
I don't think, sorry.
I'll second it with
Well,
Christina's
you can
question.
speak in a minute. Okay. No. Go ahead. Okay, you seconded. We're going to let Joe speak to it. Do you have or did you speak enough?
Yeah, I would just defer to a Deputy Jones if that would jeopardize.
If I may, Madam Chair, the last PEA meeting is Tuesday, and that's when they'll make their recommendation to EAC for how much to put on the WPU. So if you want to update your WPU number, I'm just not unduly influencing you, but now would be the time so that they know what the board's position is on the WPU percentage ahead of that last PEA meeting where they make motion. I understand the timing is not good. Board Member Straight, Board Member Carey, they're spot on. I just don't have any new revenue updates yet. So, but I understand how important that is to them. It's just timing.
Yeah.
It's their last meeting.
And correct me if I'm wrong, the process is they'll probably spend all weekend looking at all the numbers and then the final
Definitely.
thing. So whatever message we want to send.
Do you have the motion thing in there, Sarah? Ma'am, could we pull up the motion chart just so you can see what's coming on Tuesday? I mean, there'll be some modifications there, but you might want to, is that big enough? Both. I mean, we can do this one first, but this is what they're looking at, subject to approval by the chairs and, leading into Tuesday. So, and then there's another one where these are drafts, so, they could change between now and Tuesday, but can we pull the motion chart up that came out today? And I apologize. This just did literally happen this morning. So
No, this is good. This is relevant.
Yeah, there you go.
So-
So yeah, there's some proposed motions there that will occur. And then there's another sheet that I sent a draft of that shows how they'll capture all the different amounts that that PEA recommends to the EAC. So probably the last these are not the only motions that can be made or could be made, but this, they're just trying to get ahead, I think, a little bit. And remember, like programs like Beverly Taylor Sorensen were in the base budget bill, HB1. So there's been some other actions that have taken. The base budget bill has passed. And then, after you've spent some time here, it'd be good to go back to the first one and just, take a little bit of time to look at this and let me know if you have any questions or concerns. If you could scroll to, I guess, the left so that they can see the right, yeah, the X's and stuff in there.
Can you go up just a little bit so we can see the BTS?
And that would be Representative Pulsifer's request for appropriation. That I think she did that, Wednesday. So this is in the backups now for you to review. If I'm not against Board Member Carey's motion, I just want to make sure just to duly inform you about the timing of everything right now. So
Okay, if he's going to withdraw without objection, do I have any objection? Anybody online object to that? Okay. Yeah, thank you. Good questions. So we are back to our original motion, which would be, I'll give you just a second, that the board adjusts the amount of the board's WPU priority legislative request to 6%. 6% total. I've got to make sure that's inclusive. Okay, so we're gonna go online. Is that okay? And then okay, so Randy, we haven't heard from you yet. Will you go ahead and share your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm just wondering if we are certain that USBA or JLC is still at the same level they've always been? Haven't made any adjustments to what they're asking for the WPU?
Yeah, Madam Chair, to answer Board
Booth.
To answer Board Member Booth's question through you, ma'am, the answer is no, we do not. As far as we know, they haven't taken a position on it. So, or they haven't. I'm sorry, they have not changed their position. Yes, correct.
Okay. Do you have additional questions, Randy, or Board Member Booth?
No, it's tough. The timing of it is tough. But I did get a note from Jennifer Thronson, who just got off a plane, who said that there is another proposal that we should possibly consider for BTS funding from, I guess, the BTS folks and our fine arts folks in Jennifer's team. And I don't know exactly what that is, but that just came over the wire.
Okay, we're not sure what that is. We're going to finish these motions that are already here, and then we have 3 motions that board members have sent in, and then if we have time, we can certainly take a closer look at that. So I don't know if anybody has that information. If so, maybe let Angie know, or Elise or someone know, and we'll see if we can touch that real quick. We're not familiar with that. Okay, Cindy Davis, Board Member Davis, do you have a comment?
Thank you. Yes, I would speak against the motion. I think in addition to, I actually probably would have supported it a couple of weeks ago. But, in addition to kind of a new surprise 150 million request that came up recently from the legislature, another just very recently within the last couple of weeks also came up for 200 million for looking at potential merit teacher increases. And makes me think things weren't as tight as maybe they thought originally. So in light of that, I'm not really anxious to reduce our WPU request, especially if and since they have been asking for cuts to below the line items like Beverly Taylor Sorensen and other things. And if those things get cut, our LEAs are going to need these flexible dollars to supplement, to preserve what they do have already. And these are the only dollars that are flexible for them. So, well, beyond the flexible allocation, that's just a whole nother conversation. But for the most part, this is fairly flexible money that could help offset those losses when and if they come. Thanks.
Okay, and
also, I want to note really quickly too that 1% increase on top of the inflationary increase is $43 million. So with these hundreds of millions of dollars new proposal, and seeing the amount that 1% increase of WPU cost, it makes me reticent to lower the ask.
Okay, Brent Straight, did you have a comment as well? I don't see his hand up now. Is it still up?
It was answered. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Was there another board member, Carrie, did you? All right, I don't see any other comments. We'll go ahead and vote on that then. So the motion before the board is that the board adjust the amount of the board's WPU priority legislative request to 6% total. And we will start, I'm going to actually start at the bottom of my list I have here. So board member Straight?
Yes. Oh, wait a second.
No? No?
No.
Board member
sorry.
Norton?
No.
Board member Moss? Chair Moss?
Yes.
Chair Lear? Or board member Lear? Board member Hymas?
Yes.
Board member Wood?
No.
Board member Carey? Yes. Board member Lear?
No.
Board member Rill?
No.
Board member Booth?
No.
Board member Bogus? Yes. Board member Klein?
Yes.
Board member Davis?
No.
Board member Vice Chair Earl is a yes. Board member Green? Is she still on with us? Board member.
I said yes.
Oh, sorry, didn't hear yet. Vice Chair Hart?
Yes.
Okay, I think that's 7, 8. And is that what you have? Okay, so that does pass. The no votes are Rill, Booth, Davis, Wood, Lear, Norton, and Straight. Did I get that right? Correct. Okay. All right, the second part of the motion is that the board postpone the matter, direct staff to fervently advocate for the traditional BTS funding model. Did we get clarity on what that word meant? Sound like we were pretty close, right? Board
Would
member
you like
Bogus?
the Oxford definition?
No, I just wanted to make sure we spoke to it. Just want to make sure.
I just want to make certain that we're clear to the legislature that,
That
this
this is
is
important.
This is very important.
Okay.
And yeah.
And
And
direct
and may I?
Director Thrones. Yes.
And honestly, that we are engaged in this conversation in good faith.
Okay. Thank you. That is a good definition. Director Thronson, did you have something to add to the Beverly Taylor? Oh, it's what's in backup. Okay, so we're
Yeah, it's kind of a moot point unless somebody wants to reject. It was another way to do the funding.
Okay.
That meets the needs of the legislature.
So we're good with
but
the
doesn't
fervent?
hurt the LEAs as much.
okay. We'll go with that. Okay. Is there another? Okay. 2 hands online. Who's up online? I can't. Natalie, Board Member Klein, did you have a question or comment?
I think Board Member Davis was first.
Okay, Board Member Davis.
I'm in line to make another motion, but I'll just quickly add that I support this motion, and I really did appreciate, I was at PEA the other day, and Lisa Cleft did a great job, Chair Moss did a great job helping to support her, and Representative Pulsifer as well. The 3 of them made a great trifecta, but we can continue to work for this program.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Yes, Board Member Klein.
Yeah, and I think maybe I missed a little bit of the conversation, so I apologize if this has already been answered.
Okay.
But the traditional BTS funding model, is that would that be the same as saying we're reducing the amount going towards it instead of upping the amount that has been voted on in our previous funding requests?
Yeah, we could get some. Are you just seeking a clarification? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
So you're asking
Yes,
the
is this
difference
asking to go back to the previous, to stay with how we've been funding it, or as opposed to increasing the funding like has been requested?
I think that they're changing the model. The legislatures made motions to change the model of the funding. Yeah, to a grant
What does that
program.
mean as far as more or less funding for the program?
Yes. Does someone want to try to answer that?
can start.
I could try.
But we're going to have to be real quick.
I'll just start really quickly if you want. And then I think Jennifer has like an optional model that's not the traditional, it's not what was in the bill, but a third. So I'll just quickly state the traditional model would be what we've been using for a number of years leading up to today. It meaning different LEAs receive different amounts depending on the salaries for their individual specialists, the BTS arts people in their schools. What PEA did took and then EAC, and that's executive approved, and then ultimately it did pass as part of HB1, so it actually passed the full legislature, this new model, is to give a flat average amount per specialist or teacher, as opposed to if one teacher made a lot, the LE got a little bit more. If another teacher was at the bottom, they got, less. So just wanted to clarify that action took place in HB1 and did pass. And so if there were to be changes to that model, it would require a statutory change at this point, not just not doing anything, if that makes sense. And so what Jennifer and team have and is in backup is some modeling for what I would call is a third option. So traditional is what we've had forever. 2 is the grant amount that passed in HB1. And then there's the new model of funding that's in backup. And I don't know if Jennifer, you want to quickly share that.
Okay.
And to the question that was in front of the body, does it save money or is it less money? It actually does save 1.1 million.
What is
in both models, both the uniform grant amount and the third option that we have not presented.
Okay. So I'm just trying to seek some clarity right here. We're going to finish this motion. Deputy Superintendent Angie Stallings has indicated there are 3 people that are on a list for making motions. And I've had a couple of requests come in. So I just want to make sure just as we're moving forward, that those that have, made those requests, that we go in that order. And then I've had a couple of requests come in. Yes, please.
What I want to just clarify with Board Member Bogus is that with this motion, what you want staff to advocate for is the way the program has been for a number of years leading up to today, with no changes. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Will you tell me who's on your list so I'm sorry, I
Yes.
don't mean to interrupt, just so we can keep order.
I have Board Member Davis, Board Member Reel, Board Member Wood, and Board Member Norton.
Can I
Okay.
do a follow-up?
Yes, if you can do it. We're going to be really close on time, so go ahead and.
Yes, I'm just trying to understand what are the pros and cons besides what Jennifer mentioned, the traditional funding model saving us money. What are the pros and cons of one or the other? Is there?
Randy has his hand up. Okay.
Sorry, I'm just wondering if Board Member Bogus can maybe touch base with Board Member Klein on the pluses and minuses of the different things. Okay. Is that okay? I mean, we can do it if you want publicly. I wonder if Board Member Bogus can
That's
give you
fine.
those.
I'll just be abstaining until I have
Okay,
that more.
perfect. Okay, thank you.
Clarification.
Who else needed, was there another hand up? Yeah, Board Member Booth. Yeah, and
I just want to clarify that with that information that Angie gave us, I'm so disheartened because that is going to hugely impact the program and take the program away from thousands upon thousands of children in the state of Utah this coming year. We asked and pled, and Jim pled for a hold harmless year where we wouldn't ask for more money. We would ask for what we had last year and give us the year. But if they've already passed that, we're in trouble.
I see.
Yes. So I'm really sad.
Thank you, Board Member Booth. I know this is a passionate thing for you. Thanks for sharing your thoughts with us. Yes, go ahead.
Just quickly, I wanted to share one thing that could be not something that we're considering as a fourth option, but because we know that Representative Pulsifer, Chair Moss, Lisa Clough were together advocating for the additional $3 million, is there is a possibility that the legislature could stick with that second new model of the grant amount, but add an additional $3 million to it to essentially, even though it's now a grant amount, maybe up that a little bit more, if that makes sense. So then LEAs who maybe had or have teachers who have higher salaries, they wouldn't be, it would be almost like a little bit of a hold harmless. I just wanted you to know that could be another possibility the legislature has in mind, keeping that option too, but adding more funds to it.
Okay, thank you. I think we're going to move to motions, and then if we need to come back for additional information on legislation, we'll do that. Does that work? Okay, because I think probably people that have motions have a pretty good idea where they're headed on stuff. Board Member Davis, we're gonna start with you if you've got a motion. Oh, but first, I've got a great idea. We have a motion on the floor. I was thinking maybe it'd be a good idea to vote on that. So,
You there, Monica?
fervently probably too. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and vote on that. Let me read it again and then I'll take the votes. The motion before the board is that the board, where am I at? That the board directs staff to fervently advocate for the traditional BTS funding model. And we'll start with Board Member Bogus.
Yes, ma'am.
Board Member Booth.
Yes.
Board Member Klein.
I am a yes. I had my question answered. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Board Member Davis.
Yes.
Vice Chair Earl is a yes. Board Member Green.
Yes.
Board Member Hart.
No.
Board Member Hymas.
Yes.
Board Member Carey. Board Member Lair.
Yes.
Board Member Norton.
Yes.
Board Member Rill.
Yes.
Board Member Straight.
Yes.
Board Member Wood. Yes. And Board Chair Moss. BTS funding. Okay. We're, yeah, 13-1. Board Member Hart said no on that. Okay, now we will turn to.
Chair, may I?
Yes.
I would like to advise our staff that I have a checklist rubric for the word fervently.
Oh, great. That should have come up before.
I'm just joking.
Thank you. Board Member Davis, I believe you have a motion. Is that
I do.
okay?
But I am making a slight tweak to it.
Okay.
Do we want to go to the next person's motion and come right back to me?
Yes. Board Member Reel, do you have a motion?
I do. I have two motions. The first motion is that the board supports HB 138 and HB 221. One is, oh, go ahead.
No, give us the titles and what they are. And then, well, you've got
Okay.
a second, so go ahead and talk to him and tell us what they are.
Yeah, surely. HB 138 is high need school amendments, and HB 221 is stipends for future educators. If I can get a second.
I think you had one. Board Member Lear seconded that.
Okay.
I would move to divide.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, and there is a motion.
Can I speak to the motion
speak to it, and then
before we divide?
Go ahead.
Okay, I actually think that these two bills go great together. They are complementary. They are both focusing on future educators, the Grow Your Own program, and they align with our requests. And I also think that they support educator retention. They both are very fiscally conservative and I've talked to both of the sponsors of both bills, and they've gone out of their way to make this the most bang for our buck in order to give first-year educators and current educators dollars to support them staying in our schools and staying in the pathway and pipeline to become an educator. So they align really well together, in my opinion, and I hope that the board can support SB 138 and HB 221, which is Karen Peterson's bill. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. That's what I was going to say too.
138. Sorry. Okay, I'm trying to look it up real quick. Did you have a? Okay, we are gonna. There was a motion to divide. Oh, there's a motion to divide that was requested. Do I have a second? Okay. Is there? Well, let's take a vote. Motion to divide. Board Member Bogus. Yes. Booth.
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Davis.
No.
I'm a yes. Green,
Yes.
Hart,
No.
Carrie, Hymus, Lear,
No.
Norton,
No.
Rill,
No.
Straight,
No.
Wood, and Moss. Divide? Yes. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 no's. Is that what you have? Okay, those names are Davis, Hart, Lear, Norton, Rill, and Straight. And so we'll be dividing those. We're going to start with Senate Bill 138, High Needs School Amendments. And I will take any discussion to that motion, or if you want to have Angie, do you have is it possible to give us a quick overview of that one? Do you guys have that one? SB 138? And if not, that's okay. I just had wondered if someone is briefed on that and wanted to maybe share a synopsis.
Angie probably has more of the logistical part of it, but I will say that when I talked to the sponsor, they discussed how they had put this together based on our request.
We didn't request.
First year educator means educator.
Oh,
Can you
from the Grow Your Own.
Okay, so I just want to make. Does someone have an analysis of that? At least you do. Would you mind sharing? Because I think I have a general idea. I want to make sure I'm in the right.
So this is Senate Bill 138 from Senator Reeby. The bill requires the State Board of Education to solicit proposals from local education agencies, award grants, and make administrative rules. Requires a LEA that receives the grant to use that funding to employ an additional first-year educator in a high-need school and provide matching funds. And then they can report back to the State Board of Education on that progress.
Very similar, though. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out. I think Senator Reeby's ran something similar in the past, and maybe this has some different components to it. It wasn't a.
Yeah, she said she adjusted it to align with what folks were requesting last year.
Okay, the reason. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, she said she adjusted it for what folks were requesting last year to make it more affordable. So it costs the state less money in with this new bill.
And I think the reason why I'm asking, because this is similar, not the same as what she's previously run, and that one was not effective, meaning that money wasn't getting where it needed to go, and then teachers weren't staying in there. So I guess in my mind, I'm trying to figure out the difference here, and it's a grant program then, so people can get grant money for it. Okay. All right. Are there any other questions or comments to this one? Yes.
Just
Board Member Lear?
Is that me? Just a brief comment that I think this combines a lot of the things that the board talks about often, and I would like to see us put our support behind it. It shores up new teachers. It supports schools and teachers in low income or more challenged areas.
It is. It's the high needs.
In high needs areas. Title I schools.
Title I areas with low income, high percentages of students experiencing homelessness. So it is targeted at certain schools with certain populations.
Okay.
And it also addresses an issue of keeping class sizes low, and it provides support for those first-year teachers who are often, especially in low-needs schools, have a hard time. So I think it has many elements for a small amount of money of the kinds of things the board is looking to do. So I would hope that we could support this, given those, again, lower amount of money and those really targeted needs that the board's always talking about.
Okay. All right. Just one other piece of information. This is a $500,000 ask. And so I don't know if what that looks like when we approve something and then with our other funding, but just something to keep in mind. Okay. Is there any other comments? I don't see any other. Oh, Board Member Carey, do you have a comment?
I just want to make a motion.
Related to this? Oh, you're on my list then. Okay. Okay. We're going to go ahead and vote on this. So this is, where am I looking? That the board supports Senate Bill 138 high needs school amendments. And I'm going to start at the top with, let's start at the bottom actually. Chair Moss.
No.
Wood?
Yes.
Straight?
Yes.
Rill?
Yes.
Norton?
Yes.
Lear?
Yes.
Carey? Hymas?
Yes.
Hart?
Yes.
Green?
Yes.
I'm a no. Davis?
Yes.
Klein?
No.
Booth?
Yes.
And Bogus?
I'm a no, but I want to be clear. It's not because I don't support the bill. It's because I'm really trying to understand the funding mechanisms and acknowledge those. If the legislature chooses to do this, I would champion that, but I'm not going to ask for this money. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. So the no's are, let's see, we have 4 no's? Is that what you had? Okay, so I have 11 yeses. The no's are Bogus, Klein, Earl, and Moss. Okay, second motion is, or the other part of this motion, that the board supports House Bill 221, stipends for future educators. Can someone give us a synopsis of that real quick, and then maybe the financial component associated with that, so we're aware of those? Okay, Elise, are you doing that?
Yes, I am. Remind me, what's the number again? 130?
It's
221. Thank
House Bill
you.
221.
Just to make sure I've got it all. So this would provide a stipend to those who are student teaching. That's really where it comes down to. $6,000.
What's the full cost of this,
So
the
full
request?
cost, the fiscal note. Mhm.
Okay, so there's an 8 million one time, that's over a course of a couple years, or is it a 1 year? What are we looking at? Okay, so it doesn't specify. Okay. Okay, there's a good chance it could be non-lapsing. Okay. Okay, any other questions or comments? Do you have a comment then, Board Member Bogus, on that?
Oh, I apologize.
Board Member Lear?
That's a lot of money, but I really support, I think we've got to do some things to help new teachers and to help people. There's nothing harder than student teaching. I have PTSD from 50 years ago, and there's nothing harder. And so if we can give support to some of those teachers and some encouragement, then I think we need to put our money, our requests for money, with what we say we want. And this is it.
We're not trying to be disagreeable, but we were thinking of some other things that might be hard too, but yeah. Well, I don't know. I was going to speak during the actual public comment when they brought this up, because I did, when I did my student teaching, it was, I sorted cherries from, I can't remember what time we started, but it was most of the night, did my student teaching, and then slept during the afternoon. So I do sympathize with this, although I'm not sure I'm ready to commit to this kind of money, but it brought back fond memories. So do we have another comments? Anybody? Oh, Board Member Straight. 2 online. Okay, Board Member Straight, go ahead.
Well, you did cherries, I did cheese.
Yeah.
And so, and when I was going through, and this is probably the same way, but we're probably pretty close together as far as age, but when I was going through, they actually wanted us, don't get caught up on that age thing, but when I was going through, they actually wanted us to quit our job. It was actually a requirement. And I just went in and I told them, I can't quit. So they said, that's fine. And I remember how hard it was. And I didn't realize at the time that when you do an assessment and it takes 10 minutes to correct, you just committed yourself to several days of correcting. So I learned that really quick. But this is just really a support. I went into a high school that had student teachers last week. Actually, it was this week on Wednesday. And they were, the student teachers were excited about this, this coming forward. They were aware of it. They understood it. And, you know, the one student teacher had actually quit her job in order to do her student teaching. I think this is money well spent. I think I think it will help with retention. I think it will take some of the financial burden, which when you first start out, when I first started out, my first contract was $17,595. I still remember that number because I realized real quick that I actually had more money in college than I had as a first-year teacher.
Okay, board
And I
member
qualified
Straight.
for all the programs. I'm saying, you know what? I will.
All we're saying is we just
I'm for it.
we get. You've done a great job, and we are good to know. Everybody, we just need to keep comments shorter. We're not going to finish on time tonight before we lose people. Thank you, board member Straight. I think I have hands of Sarah up, and then also Cindy Davis. Do you want to comment to this? And if so,
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. We can vote.
Board member Davis, do you have a comment? And if so, keep it concise. Okay.
I'm just ready for you to come back to me, but I support this.
Okay, I've got you on the list still. Okay, board member Hymas.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm speaking in favor of this. I hope we can get this through. This actually changed the course of my career as well. If I had been able to student teach and get paid with my fourth child, then I would probably have spent my career in public ed instead of charter. I'm happy how things have turned out, but I get it. And to say good luck, you're on your own is difficult.
It is hard. Board member Bogus, do you have a comment?
Yeah, so I like this in theory, but without amendment, I can't support this bill. It doesn't account for the multiple methods and pathways in which one goes through this process. And until that's accounted for in the bill language, I can't support it. But I will say, as everybody else has gone down memory lane, that when you have to quit a job to go student teach and live without income for multiple months, that is very hard. But without amendment, I can't support this bill.
Thank you. Board member Moss, Chair Moss. Did you have a comment?
I'll just say I support it. I think the price tag's a bit high, but I want to put it into the hopper and see what they can do with it. I think it's great to expand our attractiveness of the teaching core that we need.
Okay, here's the motion before the board. The motion is that the board supports House Bill 221 stipends for future educators, and we're going to start middle. Board member Hart, Vice Chair Hart.
Yes.
Board member Hymas. Yes. Board member Carey. No. Board member Lair.
Yes.
Board member Norton.
Yes.
Board member Rill.
Yes.
Board member Straight.
Yes.
Board member Wood. Yes. Board member Moss.
Yes.
Board member Bogus.
No.
Board member Booth.
Yes.
Board member Klein.
No.
Board member Davis.
Yes.
And Vice Chair Earl, I'm a yes. Board member Green.
No.
Okay, then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 no's, so 11 passes. So the no's are Bogus, Klein, Green, and Carey. And I now have Board member Davis up for a motion.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I move that the board direct staff to work with legislators to include professionally licensed speech technicians in SB 52 educator salary amendments or any other legislation, including speech language pathologists' salary increases like HB 103 or others. If not feasible for fiscal year 25, then for fiscal year 26, and support SB 52 educator salary amendments. And I'd like to speak to the motion if I get a second.
Okay, is there a second on this motion?
Second.
Okay, Board member Straight has seconded that. Go ahead. Board member Davis.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. We have, as you know, a kind of a shortage of speech pathologists, but in an effort to help with that situation, we have hired speech technicians all across the state. They have a bachelor's degree, just kind of like a teacher does, and they have a license through the USBE, just like a teacher does. We have actually 142 on associate licenses statewide and 432 professional licenses statewide, but only about half of those are currently working. That half I'd like to include in the salary amendments. Somehow they got left out. Everyone else got in there, even with our, in addition to our teachers, our extra providers, except OT, but they're kind of at the top of the pay scale. So I don't know if they want to advocate, but these guys aren't. And this extra salary adjustment would really make a big deal for them individually. And when I talked to Representative Perucci about this, we did some numbers just roughly off the top of our head and figured it would be about 1.5 million to include them. That's not exact. We'd have to run those exactly. And again, if not for this year, then next year, depending on what the bill sponsors say and PEA and EAC says. But this is really important. The second part of this is to support SB 52 educator salary amendments. That's a much smaller amendment. It's in like a 139,000, I want to say, for some of our RESA employees to be included in the educator salary adjustment. So that's my motion. I'm happy to answer questions if anyone has any.
Yes, and we will take comments to the tune of about 30 seconds each. If you have a comment or a question, don't see any. Do you see any online? Okay, we're going to go ahead. Oh, okay, go ahead, Board Member Klein. Really short.
Do the employees for the reset, do they make equivalent to what educators make typically? And are they in the schools and classrooms like the educators? Or is their work very different?
Okay.
If that's to me, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they are licensed educators, and they work either with the educators themselves or like they're specialists that go into classrooms, if I understand correctly. Someone else can correct me if
similar to early literacy, right? They would go in and assist with it.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Board Member Lear.
Short comment. This is another thing that the board, over several board periods, has supported with our lip service, and that is supporting employees who work directly with students and support teachers. And if we can't support these people, we're going to lose them, and that hurts our teaching force dramatically, as well as our children.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the motion before the board is that direct staff to work with legislators to include professional licensed speech technicians in Senate Bill 52 educator salary amendments or any other legislation, including speech language pathologist salary increases. And that's for House Bill, example is House Bill 103, or, we're doing the or, right? Or if feasible for fiscal year 25, then for fiscal year 26. And then also to support Senate Bill 52 educator salary amendments. And I'm going to take a vote. So we'll start midway again. Oh, sure.
This I didn't hear.
Who's the bill carrier? Vickers is the.
Thank you.
Okay, so Johnson and Vickers. Okay. Let's go ahead and start with Board Member Lear.
Never. Yes.
Board Member Carey. Or do you want me to come? Okay. Board Member Hymas? Yes. Board Member Hart?
No.
Board Member Green?
No.
Board Member Davis?
Yes.
Board Member Klein?
No.
Board Member
Excuse
Booth?
me, no.
Sorry, yep. Board Member
Yes.
Booth? Yes. Okay. Board Member Bogus? Chair Moss?
Yes.
Board Member Wood? Board Member Straight?
Yes.
Board Member Rill?
What a fun order you went in.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know. That is fun. Board Member Norton? Board Member Norton?
Yes.
Okay, and I am a no, and that was a fun order, fervently fun. The motion, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 no's, and so that makes, what's the math on that one? 9? 9 yeses, so that passes, and the no's are Bogus, Klein, Earl, Green, Hart, and Carey. Okay, the next person I have in line is Wood.
I move that the board take a position of support on HB 296, reading disabilities amendments.
Okay, so there's a motion that the board supports 296 reading disabilities amendments. And do you have a second somewhere?
I'll second.
Okay, Board Member Lear has seconded that. Do you want to give us either a summary or we can ask staff?
I can give you a single summary. It costs no money. All it does is add the definition of dyslexia into our code for those parents who want to be acknowledged that their children. I talked to Leah Voorhees. They did some amendments to make sure that that didn't discount, automatically put them into special education or anything. It's just a definition. But if you listen to the committee, it was lovely. If all committees could have such wonderful parents.
Thank you. I think I was there for that one as well, so thank you. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take a vote on this. So the vote, are you going to comment? Okay.
Oh, no, I just
Okay, here we go for the vote. The motion before the board is that the board supports House Bill 296 reading disability amendments, and we will start with Rill this time.
Yes.
Norton.
Yes.
Lear.
Yes.
Carey. Yeah. Hymas. Yes. Hart.
Yes.
Green.
Yes.
Vice Chair Earls, yes. Davis.
Yes.
Klein.
I am a no. I don't think it's an accurate definition.
Okay. Booth.
Yes.
Bogus. I'll come back. Chairman Moss. Okay. And Wood. Straight.
Yes.
Carey. And Board Member Bogus, did you get your reading done?
I would ask what's wrong with the definition.
Well, it's too late to do that, but you can do yes or no.
Oh, that's I guess not my question. It was just that
Well, you can give her a
articulated.
call during the break.
I would say yes, but
Okay.
I would love to know I would like that to be disclosed.
Okay.
Maybe over email,
Line-
but
line
regardless.
53.
She says line 53, so something about line 53. Okay, so that is what? 13 to 1. We have 1 abstention and 1 no, and that's Board Member Klein. Board Member Moss abstained. The next person I have on my list is.
I have one more.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. I move to direct staff to advocate for early literacy funds to be allocated to an early literacy add-on as opposed to the at-risk add-on.
Okay. Are we too late to do that?
Am I
one?
too? Well, this was
No,
just.
I'm just. Yeah.
Is this funding only? I mean, is this policy only?
Is this? No, it's not policy. I didn't mean that. I just
Oh.
meant putting this in today. Are we still too late to start advocating for that? Do you want to? Can we ask that question? I'm not saying no. Actually, let's get a second, then we can speak to it. Say it one more time.
I move to direct staff to advocate for early literacy funds to be allocated to an early literacy add-on as opposed to the at-risk add-on.
Okay. Do we?
And I'll second for purposes of.
Sure. Tell us if this is correct. Is that okay? So, can someone tell us if scheduling wise, and I'm not saying we can't do this. Do you know what I mean? Are we too late maybe to get behind this one? Scott, are you okay?
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I just am wondering about this item. If
What is it?
This is already kind of decided, and we're.
Madam Chair, I don't
Yes.
think it's really too late to
Okay.
do anything. However, I would ask the board to consider where things are at with it right now, right? Where it has been recommended to, here we go with the timing again. Tuesday is when they make their motions. So right now it's been recommended by the chairs to the committee, but it's really about what you want to put in front of them between now and Tuesday that might influence it. So I'm not against doing it. It's just every day that goes by, it gets harder and harder to make any adjustments. So we have this thing in the military. We never want to give anybody false hope, right? It is where it is right now, and it doesn't mean it can't change. But I just want to make sure everyone knows that. I know how important things are to people, and we want to promote that or accommodate that. But I do think we too have to be careful about pushing too hard.
The message we're sending,
right?
But we don't
But
want
I
any
don't want
false
to say
hope
I
going
don't
on
want
here.
to send a message. So,
Can I speak to it?
Yes, please.
Okay, so there's no false hope.
Okay.
The concern I have with it being in the at-risk is that we are spreading our literacy funds to a K through 12 system. So we're diluting the money that is going to our LEAs. And at this point, we've given a lot of direction through SB 127, but that money did not go directly to our LEAs. You've noticed we've been passing a whole lot of contracts up here. That was a lot of money that never actually touched students. And so this would take that at-risk funding, put it into something that would give us money for our K through 3.
Okay, instead of outside entities. Is that clear in that motion, do you think?
So it's just a different focus. It's putting, we actually made a motion earlier to keep it as an earmark, and they didn't earmark it. They put it in at-risk. So this is just a changing.
Okay.
Our original motion was, we said roll it up, but keep an earmark on it.
Okay.
They did not keep that earmark, so.
Okay. Any other comments to that, Matt? Do you have
Just a question. So we made a recommendation, they didn't take it, now we're making another recommendation? Okay.
Yeah, it's the hope thing. So, right?
I didn't even put fervently because I know where we're at. But
Okay.
If
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're this is a hopeful group here. So we're gonna go ahead and take this vote unless I don't see anything else. Okay. So the motion before the board is that the board direct staff to advocate for early literacy line item funds into a new early literacy add-on instead of rolling the early literacy line item funds into the at-risk add-on. Did something just get added? Okay, to be moved into, so it made more sense. Okay.
And there's lots of backup. If you look at the data that's in the backup, there was early literacy information in there.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. We're going to start with Board Member Wood.
Yes.
Straight? Board
Come
Member
back
Straight?
to me.
Okay.
Can you come back to me?
Board Member Rill?
Yes.
Board Member Norton?
Yes.
Board Member Lair?
Yes.
Board Member Carey? Board Member Hymas? No. Board Member Hart?
No.
Board Member Green?
Yes.
Board Member Earls, yes. Board Member Davis?
Yes.
Board Member Klein?
No.
Board Member Booth?
Yes.
Board Member Bogus?
No.
And Board Member, Straight?
Right, yes.
Chair, are you abstaining? No. You're a no? Okay. No abstaining. Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 no's, so we've got 10 for. The no's are Bogus, Klein, Hart, Hymas, and Moss. And we have, are you done with motions? Okay. Board Member Carey, you're up.
Yeah, I'd like to move HB 84, I believe, school safety.
Okay. Is there a second? Actually, I'm going to second it. It came
Vice
out of.
Chair Earl, can I comment?
Yes, you
I was
can.
gonna
Do you
say
want
the
to
same
second
thing
it?
you were. Yes, I would love to second it. Today in our standards meeting, we actually made a motion to support this bill in our next legislative conversation. So I also second that and support this bill.
Okay, so Board Member Carey, do you want to speak to it?
No, I think most of us, if not all of us, were present when Representative Wilcox extended the courtesy of having us down at the Capitol, answering our questions, not only about this bill, about the funding issues involved, but just generally get to know us and our concerns and our thoughts. And I thought that was very gracious. I think this will be a long conversation over several years.
HB 84, that's the one I was sending all the screenshots to.
Board member Klein, we can hear you. I don't know if you're unmuted.
Sorry.
So I thought she was making another suggestion on amendment. No. So that's all. And I just would like to demonstrate that we're supportive of those efforts in this bill in particular. Thank you.
Thank you. What was I going to say? Oh, we've just had a request to make sure you're leaning into your microphone when you speak. Just there's sometimes on and off. We have a couple board members that are having a little difficulty hearing. So just make sure we can hear you, but make sure you're speaking right into your mic. Board member Straight, did you have a comment, like 30-second?
Yes, I'd like to make an amendment.
Okay.
So the amendment I'd like to make is I support this 100%, don't want to make any change in support of House Bill 84. I'm getting lots of feedback. Okay, that's better. So the business case and policy requests that we had last year for the 5
Do you have a
years,
motion?
150
Oh, maybe he's getting,
Yes.
sorry. I just sound like you're speaking. Sorry, just trying to, do you have a motion or an amendment?
Yes. I'd like to amend to adopt the business case and review a policy case for that we had last year, which was for 5 years at $175 million, just to be the baseline to continue developing this over the long term. This is a long-term thing, and I think that's been well expressed. So,
Is there a second?
thank you.
Okay, board member Lear has seconded it. Do you have more to add to that? I don't know if you can see the motion. I have on the motion just so make sure we've got this correct. Okay, so this is what I'm reading what's here. It says that the board add if funding is provided. So
basically, it takes the business case from last year that was for 5 years, $175 million is what the projection was. And just to continue that on in support of House Bill 84, as well as our future, that we'll hold it in. Because when I went back and read through the business case, it was actually based on an analysis that we would need to be 5 years, 175 million. Now, obviously, that's a big ask, but it is what it projected would be the need. And so we could adjust this over time. I guess that unless it's removed, I would think that it would continue on and we would have it in front of us for each year. So thank you.
Okay, you want to speak to that? Or did,
Deputy Jones, I believe.
yeah, can you give us some feedback on that maybe? Because I'm not really understanding it even.
Sure.
Why?
Madam Chair, if we could, Kelsey, can you go back and pull the PEA list up of where they're headed with this particular request or bill? And I can't really see that too well, so we'd have to probably locate it. R14. So R is request for funding. R stands for request for funding. So 14.
Oh, that's HB 119. Hold on.
I know it's in there.
Well, it just.
Where is it?
So we have Wilcox's and then the school safety. Is that what I'm understanding? That there's two pieces?
Yeah. 45 million.
Okay, and if I'm understanding, help me if I'm understanding this
Sure.
correctly. what Board Member Straight is saying is that we support the continuation of that ask from a few years ago with the
Correct.
45 million in addition to the school safety. Am I understanding that correctly?
That's what I'm understanding from him, but
Board Member Straight, is that,
Yep.
are we headed in the right direction?
Yeah, I think we could simply just say to re-adopt our previous business plan.
Yeah, you could.
And this would have been the second year of that. Because when it was developed, it was actually developed as a 5-year plan.
Okay. So I don't know if it would be re-adopt as much as it would be a continued support for that 5-year plan.
You know
Would
what?
that be accurate?
Thank you. That's probably.
Okay. Okay.
Be used over 5 years. It's a continued support.
To continued support of our 5-year safety plan from whatever year it was. Would that be an accurate statement?
Well, if I may,
It was 2023.
Oh,
It was,
sorry, sir.
go ahead, Board
it
Member.
was 2023, it was last year.
Okay.
And Carol Lear was one of the supporters. It was me, Scott Hansen, and Carol. In fact,
Yeah.
Scott was the one that had developed it.
Okay. Board Member Carey and then Lear, did you
Yeah.
have a comment?
I'd like to speak in opposition to the amendment. This body had the opportunity to make funding for school safety a priority. The motion was made to add school safety funding to our priority funding request list to the legislature. And this body said, no, we don't want to have it as number one, number two. I believe the vote was it wasn't even in our top 10 funding requests. So the irony doesn't escape me that now that the picture has come into vision, that now it's like, well, maybe we shouldn't have done that, and we're reaching and grabbing for straws to bridge that gap. I think that the best thing we can do to show that we support the bill, that we recognize the importance of school safety, is to unequivocally come out and support what came out of standards and assessment, which was HB 84 without amendment. Thank you.
Okay. Board Member Laird, do you have a comment?
Yes, of course, I support school safety. As Brent said, I was involved a couple of years ago as we developed this. Brent and Scott Hansen did most of the work. But my concern with this bill, and I will vote for it, my concern, and I think this is what Brent is getting at, is it's woefully underfunded. If the board wants to make it a priority, we've got to ask for as much money as it's really going to cost. And with all the personnel that need to be hired, and I don't want to shift the burden to the LEAs who have to hire employees or repurpose employees and then lose other positions. So I worry that we're not putting enough money into this. And my second concern, that speaking of ironies that fall on deaf ears, there's no discussion about our concern about guns in schools. That is just completely silent in the bill, and I think that is unfortunate and oversight. So
Okay.
I support it,
Yep.
but I think it's woefully underfunded.
So I'm just going to kind of lay this out there for the rest of the meeting. If you don't assign a tint, you can share whatever thought you want to towards whatever bill, whatever direction you want to go. But the intent of other board members or other individuals, I would just ask that we don't do that because it gets into more of a back and forth instead of we've got limited time. We've got some important issues to get through, and I'm just asking for that. So, board member, our Chair Moss, do you have a comment?
Quick question, if I could, just to compare the dollars and cents. Current fiscal note on Representative Wilcox's bill, is it 47, somewhere in that neighborhood? 40, what is it?
40,
43?
47? I don't know. Somewhere right there.
40, okay. 45
No,
currently.
that's not the right one.
Oh.
Go down to.
I think this is the
Oh, it is? Okay, my apologies. I
Okay.
thought there was one that said Wilcox down below.
So the underlying motion from member
Oh.
Carey comes with $45 million
Gotcha.
price tag.
Got ya.
Going back
Sorry.
to the business case that was, I'm sorry to talk, I'm just trying to cruise. Going back to the business case that member Straight's talking about, 100 and something million spread over a period. What's the 1-year price tag on that one? I've lost track because
So it was 5 years. It was last year. It was number 5 on our priority list.
okay. Is it simple math?
5 years.
175 divided by 5?
Yes. No, it was 175 million. The projections from the group that put together the information was it would take 5 years at 175 million each year
Each year.
to get
Okay.
safety where it needed to be.
Got it. Okay.
I absolutely acknowledge that it should have been on the list.
Okay, Sarah.
I just wanted to get the price tag. Thank you. I do recall that being prioritized last year. Thank you, sir.
Sarah and Cindy, I have you guys, are you to speak to this? And if so, just really short. So,
Yes.
No, I have another motion if we have time.
okay, I might have to set a time limit in just a minute because we are a little over. But as far as that component, because we have two other pieces to get through today. Cindy, you are speaking to this?
Yeah, I'll speak to both motions.
Okay.
I mean, I support both motions. The reality is it's already underway. We prioritized it last year. We're in this multi-year process. I think it was only funded at like 75 of the 150, but that was the request. So this is just a public acknowledgement that we're still working through that plan. Even as recently a couple months, we've been distributing funds. In addition, we are supporting this new school safety plan and
Okay.
legislation and request. Thank
All
you.
right, the motion before the board is really a good one. It's an amendment that we're gonna read in just a second. Sorry. You're good. Who's got the? Okay, tell me if this is, just let me know if we didn't quite get the wording right, but I think the motion is that the board to continue support of the board's 5-year safety plan to the previous motion. Does that make sense?
Board add to continue.
Okay, so are we waiting a second? No? Okay, so the amendment is to continue our safety plan, right? That we're supporting that. Okay, and that's an amendment to the original motion, so we're going to go ahead and vote. I'm starting with Hymas. Hart. Green?
No.
I know. Green?
No.
Davis?
Yes.
Klein?
No.
Booth?
Yes.
Vargas?
No.
Chair Moss?
No.
Wood?
Yes.
Straight? Straight, this is for the amendment.
Oh, yes.
Rill?
Yes.
Norton?
Yes.
Lear?
Yes.
Carrie?
No.
And I'm a no. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8. So that amendment fails. We're back to the original motion. The original let me read it out though. So the yeses were Booth, Davis, Lear, Norton, Rill, Straight, and Wood. The motion before us is the board supports first sub House Bill 84 school safety amendments. And Vargas, are you?
Oh, if you're asking me if I'm voting, I'm a yes.
Well, okay, yep, that's what I was. Vargas?
Yes.
Okay. Booth?
Yes.
Klein?
No.
Davis?
Yes.
Earl's a yes. Green?
Yes.
Hart?
No.
Hymas?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes.
Lear? Norton?
Yes.
Rill?
Rill's a yes.
Straight?
Yes.
Wood? Yes. And Chair Moss?
Yes.
Okay, that passes with 2 noes, and the 2 noes are Klein and Hart. And I have in line, who's next? We have 2 left. Okay, we have Norton. Oh, do you have another one? Yes, it was. That's Norton. You're up for a motion, and then Rill, and then we're closing this at. You got. Oh, are you on there, Jim? Oh, I that was for speaking. I didn't know. Okay, I have you on here too. So we've got 3 motions. We're closing it at 3:30 for other things because we've got people that are leaving. So just who's up? Go ahead, Norton.
I'm up.
Okay.
This is the House Bill 251. It is post-retirement reemployment restrictions amendments. This is a revenue neutral bill. They worked it out. There's no additional cost to taxpayers. What it does is this is something that started with fire and police. They've added in education, public education system people, that if you retire, you're allowed to come back. It used to be you had to sit out a year. Now they're looking at a 60, 90 days. So if a teacher retires, they can come back and go into something like a paraprofessional. A fireman could come back as a golf course, lawnmower, or whatever, but it allows you to come back into the system if you would like, and work for a while and then retire when you're really older.
Okay.
That's it.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, Board Member Laird, you got a comment?
I do. I want a question to Angie or Scott. How much money is this ending up being, and did they find the money?
Yes.
And
Patty's the one that's working with them.
Kristen again?
Patty's the one that's been working with them. She might have insight.
She's not here.
Okay.
May I just share something? The funding would likely not come out of the PEA budget. Oh, sorry, somebody else got it. Patty,
Deputy
go
Norma
for it.
does have her hand up. Do you have a comment here?
No,
Oh.
yeah, no, go ahead. Go ahead, Angie. Go ahead, and I'll follow up.
Actually, Patty, you've been involved in the meetings. I apologize. I didn't know you were speaking. Please go ahead.
To the question, will you repeat it one more time?
I just wonder where the money's coming in from and how much is it? That was always been the holdup on this issue.
So it is cost neutral. It's cost neutral because of how they're going to do it with the algorithm. So they are going to be implementing it via a method I think that it's North Dakota is using. And so they would be doing a 20%, and I don't have that information right here with me.
That's
They're
even
doing
enough.
something.
Patty,
yeah.
that's
So
enough for me.
yeah, it's a cost neutral across. Yep.
Okay, cost neutral. We're ready to vote. Okay. We're going to start with Carrie. Are you ready to start on this one? Okay. Sorry. Let me read it out. That the board supports House Bill 251 post-retirement reemployment restrictions amendments. Carrie?
Yes.
Hymas? Hart?
Yes.
Green?
Yes.
Earl's a yes. Davis?
Yes, and can you use your microphones there, please?
Yeah, sorry. It probably is a little tricky because we're just going as quick as we can here. But if you can flip them on as you go and then back off, because I think we can only have so many on. Klein?
I just need to take a closer look, so I'm
Okay.
abstaining.
Booth? You're abstaining? Okay. Booth?
Yes.
Bogus?
Christina?
Bogus?
Vote.
Yes.
Okay. Moss? Yes. Okay. That was a yes for Moss. Wood?
Yes.
Straight?
Yes.
Rill?
Yes.
Norton?
Yes.
And Lear?
Yes.
Okay, that was 14 yeses and 1 abstention from Board Member Klein. And now I have, I don't remember. Who
Is
did
it
you
me?
say was next? Yes.
Sarah.
Okay, go ahead, Board Member Rill.
I have a motion. Thank you. I have a motion that the board request the sponsor amend HB 182 to amend the bill with provisions related to the administration of the school climate survey. And it's to align with the work that we did in our last legislative meeting where we worked through Lincoln Fillmore's student survey bill. And this takes, since he's now dropped his student survey bill, this takes Liz and B's student survey bill and adds the pieces that we had worked on previously with Lincoln Fillmore's survey bill that we supported, and adds in those elements that we approved on his bill. So it makes Liz and B's bill align better with the Lincoln Fillmore one.
Okay, so we'll read through what those are so we can, so Board Member Reel's motion for House Bill 182, that the board requests the sponsor amend House Bill 182, Student Surveys Amendments, to amend the bill provisions related to the administration of the School Climate Survey to remain a required survey for LEAs to administer, no opt-out or opt-in for LEAs, maintain the School Climate Survey as an opt-out for students and families, add an ability for the board to allow an LEA to opt out of up to 10% of the survey questions, and add language to ensure LEAs provide a translation of the school climate survey into the language of preference for parents who make that request when possible. That is the motion. Do we have anybody to speak to that? Are there any questions?
If I can just say one note, which is that I personally don't like the opt-in option, but I know that is where we're leading with Liz and B's bill, considering Lincoln Fillmore's bill is now off the table, and so I'm trying to bring this more into a place that a lot of us can be more comfortable with.
Okay, and I'm going to speak to this. I don't agree with I think it needs to be an opt-in, not an opt-out. And I also think that LEA should have a little more flexibility. I understand that doesn't give us everybody in the whole state doing the same survey, but I do think that that each LEA, this is that local control component that we all love, has different climates, and I think it is imperative that they be able to address those in the way that they want to address them if they choose to do this. So I would speak against this motion.
I
Go
would
ahead.
also speak
I
again.
move to substitute
Okay, what is your substitute motion?
that the board requests that the sponsor amend HB 182 to add language to ensure LEAs provide a translation of the school climate or of any survey into the language of parents for those who have requested as much.
So if I'm understanding your substitution, you're wanting to support House Bill 182 and just take the only provision, and that provision would be the bottom one? Is that what I'm...
So I'm not asking for the board to support it. I'm asking for the sponsor to amend it to ensure that those surveys are translated.
Okay. Okay, so the substitute motion is just that. It would be to just keep the component of the translation services.
And Jenny, I have an amendment to the.
Okay. Yeah, where are we at? I need a second. Did you get a second? I'll second that.
I'll second.
Okay. And then we have an amendment to it. Board Member Lear?
I'd like to add to it, to the extent possible.
Okay.
Because Salt Lake, as you know, East High School, my kid's alma mater, 40 languages are spoken.
Okay, so we're adding to that to the extent possible, or at least when possible.
It already says when possible.
Oh, it
Do you
does
want me
say
to
when-
change that?
Where does it say?
So, okay, so it's there.
Oh, it already
Does that
sorry.
work? Does that work okay?
So great. Yeah.
All right. Any other comments? Okay. Is there any online? Okay, we're going to go ahead.
Divide?
What's that?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, Cindy, Board Member Davis, go ahead.
Yeah, because this is a substitute, then you lose member reels. So
Yep.
I would move to amend to combine the two, but then someone will move to divide. So what's the situation there?
Well, you could.
After we
if-
vote for the substitute, can she move to add hers back in again?
Well, she can move
Or is
another
it-
motion.
But can she not move this because it was sub? She can't move the language of this?
Well, if the sub does not pass, then it would go back to the original language. If the sub passes, then there would have to be a separate motion. Am I right? That would.
But she can't use the same language because it would appear it was voted against because it was subbed. Is that correct?
Is that correct? That would be correct. You're right.
Okay, then I would speak against this and then add this to the previous motion when the time comes.
I think this was on the previous motion, but it was the last thing. So,
Yeah,
Okay.
I was trying to be considerate of the work we did
Yeah.
last Thursday.
Okay. All right. So,
Question,
one
Jenny,
more
sorry.
question. Go
I
ahead.
did, so the when possible was already in that. Yes, so I did not add that.
Right.
So, okay,
Yeah. So there is no amendment on the floor.
right.
Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to go ahead with the votes on this, and I'm going to just start at the bottom this time. So the motion before the board is that we're substituting in the previous motion, that the board requests the sponsor amend House Bill 182 student survey amendments to ensure that schools provide a translation of any survey into the language of preference for parents who make that request when possible. Board Member Chair Moss. Yes. Board Member Wood. Board Member Straight.
Brent?
We'll come back. Board Member Rill.
I'm voting no because I want to make sure we get back to the other essential pieces of my First Amendment.
Okay. Board Member Norton.
No.
Board Member Lear.
No, same reason as Sarah.
Board Member Carey.
Yes.
Board Member Hymas. No. Board Member Hart. Board Member Green.
Yes.
Board Member Earl's a yes. Board Member Davis.
No.
Board Member Klein.
Yes.
Board Member Booth.
Yes.
Board Member Bogus.
Yes.
Okay, I don't have one for Hart. Board Member Hart. Okay, and I did Straight. Did I get in a? I have. Okay.
No.
No. Okay. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 yeses. One. Okay, so 7. That motion failed. Board Member Hart is absent. We have. Let me read the yeses. Bogus, Booth, Klein, Earl, Green, and Carey and Moss were yeses. And we're back to the original motion. Any comments to that before we vote? Board, are you on, Board Member Rare?
I'm so sorry.
Lear? Okay.
Yeah, I am, and I don't know if Deputy Superintendent Angie Stallings has anything to add to this, but I felt like this was a good way of merging the bill that we approved last week and the bill that's moving forward. So Angie, I'm not sure if you have anything else.
So yes, the request, or when Board Member Real approached me, it was how do we get SB 93 into HB 182? And so these are the elements that right now, if you look at SB 93, it would maintain the school climate survey as a required survey. It didn't address student opt-in or opt-out. So I assumed if you're going with SB 93, that the student, it would remain an opt-out. And then the other two are the amendments you requested last week, numbers 3 and 4.
That the board requested?
The board
Yes.
requested,
Okay.
correct. And then 1 and 2 are what are already in SB 93.
Okay, Board Member Bogus?
So I would just speak against the motion. I think we have code that says our LEAs have autonomy, they have flexibility, and I would speak against the motion. I think that you've articulated some very important points, and I would ditto those.
Okay, thank you. Board Member Hymas?
Yeah, I think it's clear how I feel about surveys anyway, than to remain a required survey, have a school climate remain a required survey to LEA, right? I struggle with that. It's no secret how I feel about the school climate survey. So again, I'd speak against the motion.
Okay. Board Member Lear?
And I would support the motion. We just voted, many board members just voted for a lot of money for school safety. And I think we don't know how to pinpoint those issues unless we have a school safety survey, a school survey that addresses those issues. So I would hate to just throw money at something without any data.
And I'm going to maybe speak to that, maybe. I don't think the survey is dependent on the school safety things that go on in the school. They may give some information, but I don't think the things that are in that bill are dependent on our school safety survey. So go ahead.
Yeah, I would just like to speak to that because it's my understanding that, like any good researcher, they're looking at all the data points. And are some coming from the climate survey? Absolutely. But they're also reaching out to law enforcement who keep their own set of data, their own touch points on what's happening in the school. We looked at 9/12 yesterday. Those are factors that the school pulls and has to report to law enforcement. So I agree. Eliminating the climate survey is not fundamentally going to damage the ability of law enforcement to get the data they need to protect our schools.
Okay. We're starting at the top. Board Member Bogus.
Wait,
No,
I have my hand up.
Oh, sorry. I can't see hands. My apologies. Who is that that's speaking? Board Member Davis, go ahead and make your comment.
Thank you. I would support this. Just because honestly, we get asked all the time from the legislature for the data, and it drives a lot of our below the line funding items for prevention. And I don't think that this survey is, as Member Carey said, I agree, it's not the end all be all for school safety, but it does provide information for the top correlate, especially in our school shootings. So I think there are a lot of things we need to be really thoughtful about how we move through this space. And I think this is a good middle ground for our folks.
We're probably going to have to cut it off. So, okay, this is the motion before the board. Member Rill has made a motion for that the board requests the sponsor amend House Bill 182 student survey amendments to amend the bill provisions related to the administration of the school climate survey to remain a required survey for LEAs, to administer no opt-out or opt-in for LEAs, maintain the school climate survey as an opt-out for students and families, add an ability for the board to allow an LEA to opt out up to 10% of the survey questions, and add language to ensure LEAs provide a translation of the school climate survey into the language of preference for parents who make the request when possible. Board Member Bogus.
No.
And Board Member Booth.
Yes.
Board Member Klein.
No.
Board Member Davis.
Yes.
Board Member Earl is a no. Board Member Green.
No.
Board Member Hart. She's not with us. So Board Member Hymas.
No.
Board Member Carey. No. Board Member Lear.
Yes.
Board Member Norton.
I really, really, really dislike surveys, but safety is paramount with me, so yes.
Okay, Board Member Rill.
Yes.
Board Member Straight.
Yes.
Board Member Wood. Yes. And Board Member Moss.
No.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, that was a 7, so it fails. Yeses were Booth, Davis, Lear, Norton, Rill, Straight, and Wood. We have a final motion. We should have ended 5 minutes ago, but we've had people that signed up earlier. 7-7 with one, Board Member Hart's not there. Question?
Consent calendar?
Not one final motion for the. We're going.
Okay,
we're in it for a little longer here. Nope,
Okay.
sorry. We will get to
Okay.
consent
All right,
calendars
ma'am.
up next.
Yes,
I'll
thank
take
you.
an amendment to adjourn. No, we have one final under this section, and that's Board Member Moss, and that's our last one. So give us your motion.
And that's it. So this has already been addressed. I'd like to move what Director Thronson brought, which is a new opportunity on Beverly Taylor Sorensen, which would preserve the current model fervently, but with the adjustment proposed by, or I don't know who proposed it, but it's been presented by Director Thronson, that it would take off the ESA money from BTS, which would then require the LEAs to fund that 20% matching from local funds, which I understand is the original intent. So part of the concern of the legislature is that while locals were supposed to do 20% plus 80% state funding, in reality, a lot of that has been the 20% using state funding and the other 80% using state funding. If that's clear as mud, I apologize. Does that make... I just learned this, but the intent was a local match, right? They're using the ESA money from the state to do the 20% and then getting 80% state money on top. I think that's part of the concern that's driven the legislature to look at other funding models. So I'd like to move that we adopt that one and preserve the original funding model. My understanding it would save $1 million, just as would the grant program, the block grant that the legislature is considering. So it would give them the cost savings while preserving the original
Okay, is
model.
this your motion up here?
You bet.
That the board directs staff to fervently advocate for, are we doing a fervently advocating?
I don't know. Director Thronson,
Sure.
would that capture the essence of model, whatever?
Fervently, traditional BTS funding model, but remove the educator salary adjustment portion from the salary.
I think it gets at it. So the big thing is we would not attend to salary increases. So ESA would go off already, and then as the teacher's salary increases, the LEA would be responsible for that. So whatever that teacher comes in next year is their amount in perpetuity until that educator leaves and they replace them with someone new, then we would redo their allocation. But ultimately, with the WPU and ESSA going up, the LEA would be responsible for any salary increases moving forward.
Can we just add third model to that and we'll know what
We
it
call
is?
it the stability model if you
The
want.
what?
The stability model.
Okay, can you add
Pretty
stability
stable.
model and we're going to take a vote unless there's some pressing questions. Okay, so it's to support. Oh, do you have a question, Bacchus?
Oh,
Remember
no,
Bacchus?
I actually just would support the motion. I think
Perfect.
this does what we
Okay.
need it to do, and I think it would please the legislature.
Okay, so let's see. So the motion is that the board directs staff to fervently advocate for the traditional BTS funding model, but remove the educator salary adjustment portion from the state provided salary allocations related to the BTSA program. It's the stability model. So those in favor, let me run down our list here. We're going to start at the bottom. Moss?
Yes.
Wood? Straight? Rill?
Reels, yes.
And Norton?
Yes.
Lear? Carey?
Yes.
Hymas?
Yes.
Hart? Green?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Davis?
Yes.
Klein?
Yes.
Booth?
Yes.
Bogus?
Yes.
And hallelujah, that was a unanimous vote today. And we're going to move with that to the consent
Yes.
calendar. Wow.
I'm a yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yes. Thank you for reminding me to come back to you. All right, we are headed to the consent calendar. Let me pull that up. If we can shift to the personnel that are over that. And then if anybody has anything they would like to pull, which
I would like to pull the minutes.
I would actually like to pull something else, but I need to look real quick to make sure I get the right thing. Is that it? So we have a request to pull the minutes and also, contract, the West Ed professional PE contract. I just would like to add something to that or make a request for something there. So, okay, I'm entertaining a motion for the rest of the consent calendar. Board Member Hymas?
I'll move to adopt the remainder of the consent calendar.
Okay, there's a motion to adopt the remainder of the consent calendar. Okay, and, okay, good. We're going to go ahead and start at the top. So Bogus?
No.
Booth? The
Yes.
motion is to adopt the rest of the consent calendar. The minutes and West Ed item were pulled from that.
Yes.
Okay. Klein?
No.
Davis?
Yes.
Earls, yes. Green?
No.
Hart? Hymas?
Yes.
Carey? Lear? Norton?
Yes.
Rill?
Yes.
Straight?
Yes.
Wood? Moss?
Yes.
And the noes are Bogus, Klein, and Green, and Board Member Hart's gone, so that's 11 yeses. That passes. I'm going to just ask a question on the West Ed. I'm asking if we can add this. I looked through the documents and the questions, the professional learning was associated with this. The questions seem to be appropriate. The surveys that they're providing for this professional learning. I just wonder if we can indicate our updating of our 328, just that when they do these professional models and stuff, that they make sure they adhere to those things contained in there. So would that be just sending it to them and just saying, hey, make sure you keep your professional learning in line with our practices? Who do we have here? We have someone up on here. Leah Voorhees. Yes. Do you have a comment?
Yes, thank you, Vice Chair Earl. Adam can speak to the contract issue, but they are great partners in this process. We can certainly share that information with them. And I believe that they would certainly be willing to accept that. As far as changing the contract, Adam would have to speak to that.
Okay. Michael, do you want to speak to that? Okay.
I'm Michael Iwasaki, Assistant Director of Purchasing and Contracts. Adam is out today. But yes, we can definitely go back to West Ed and request that we make that change to the contract.
Yes, and it's just to make sure they're in line with Utah laws is all, and just an awareness of what those are. That's the only intent. Okay, so I guess I would make a motion that we approve the West Ed contract with the provisions that they include our 328 rule and appropriate laws that are associated with that. Okay, are there anybody want to speak to that? Okay, let's go ahead. Yeah. Sorry. The motion would be to approve the West Ed contract with the adding 328 rule plus the related laws associated. All right. We are going to go ahead and vote on that. Starting with, we'll start at the bottom this time. Board Member Moss, Chair Moss. Okay, Chair Wood. I've done that like 3 times today. You want to switch out here? There's some subliminal something going on. Board Member Wood. Straight.
Yes.
Rill.
Yes.
Norton. Oh, she's transferring to a car. Sorry, she just texted me. Lear? Okay. Carrie?
Yes.
Hymas? Yes. Hart is not with us. Green?
Is your motion stated correctly?
Earl is yes. Davis?
Point of order.
Yes.
Is your motion stated correctly on the screen?
No. Oh, sorry.
On the consent, yeah, that's all right. Are you adding the other provisions? Did anybody want to change their vote? We did speak about it, but I didn't do the double check.
Yeah, we should probably.
Yeah, it would be adding. It would be sending 328 and those provisions in the contract with the laws that are associated with it. Would you like me to start over with the votes? I can. Okay, that's what I thought.
Is that the new version of 328?
Yes, it would be.
It's not in effect yet?
No, but I think sending the what is proved would be. Okay. Board Member Klein. Oh, sorry, Davis. Okay, Board Member Klein.
I am going to abstain on that.
Okay, Board Member Booth.
Yes.
Board Member Bogus. And did I miss anyone? Board Member Moss, Chair Moss? Yes. Okay, and yeah, Norton's not. She's transferring to a car. And then Davis, are you on?
Sorry, I had to step out. I'm an abstention.
Okay, abstain.
for
So
now.
the motion passes. Let's see, we have 2 abstentions, which are Board Member Klein, Board Member Davis, 1 no, that's Board Member Bogus. We have 2 individuals that are not with us anymore, so it's Hart. Who was the other one? And Norton for just temporarily. So it passes. What's the votes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so 10-1. And I need a motion for the minutes. Board Member Bogus has made a motion to approve the minutes. Do I have a second? A second by Board
Second.
Member Carey. Is there any discussion to that? Okay, we're going to vote on approval of the minutes, starting with, let's start with Board Member Green.
Yes.
Board Member Earls, a yes. Davis? Approval of the minutes? Okay, Board Member Klein?
Yes.
Board Member Booth?
Yes.
Board Member Bogus? Yes. Board Member Hymas? Board Member Carey?
Yes.
Board Member Lear?
Yes.
Board Member Norton? Okay, we don't have her with us yet. Board Member Rill?
Yes.
Someone's not muted. Board Member Straight?
Yes.
Board Member Wood? Board Member Moss? Okay, so that is unanimous. We have a few board members missing. We didn't get a vote from Davis, Hart, Norton, or Moss, but it's unanimous otherwise. And we're going to, I'll entertain a motion. Is it next, the executive session? Someone, am I missing something?
It was just the whole.
Yes. Okay, let me just look down our list and see if we're at 2. The consent calendar's done, monthly budget's done. Executive session, I'm looking for a motion for executive session.
I move that we go into executive session.
Second.
Okay, there is a motion to move and go into executive session. We're going to take a vote on that. So, Bogus,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Earls, yes. Green,
Yes.
Hymas,
Yes.
Carey,
Yes.
Lear,
Yes.
and I don't know if Norton made it back on yet. Okay, she'll be on shortly. She, like I said, she's transferring to a car. Okay, Rill.
I'm here, but
okay.
I'm here, but I'm not voting on this one.
This is the executive session.
Okay, I'm into executive session. Sorry.
Rill.
Yes.
Okay, Straight,
Yes.
Wood, and Moss is not in at the moment. Okay, we're going into executive session, so I would everybody go take your little break and get a drink and a treat, and I think there's cookies over there or something, I don't know. Okay, we're coming back out of executive session, and I will, let me do we'll do a roll call vote on that. Board Member Bogus? I need a vote to come out of executive session.
So moved.
Okay, seconded? Okay, Board Member Carey seconded. The motion is to come out of executive session. Bogus?
Yes.
Booth? Okay.
If those of us online can't hear
Can you hear now?
if you're started.
You cannot hear us at all? Okay.
Hello? Natalie?
I'll just say thanks for commenting. They're working on it.
Thank you.
You're muted.
We can hear now. Thank you.
Can you hear us now? Yes, okay. Thanks for making us aware
You're
of that.
muted.
They're online, but we can't hear the people in the boardroom.
Oh.
I mean, we could just have our own meeting.
You're live
there
on the
you are,
internet.
Jenny.
You move to adjourn?
Can you hear us now?
What should we talk?
Did you hear me?
Dinners menu?
Yes, we can hear
Yes.
you now.
Okay. All right. Whew. That was really interesting for me there. Voices in the air here. Board Member Bogus, would you mind making that motion again?
So moved to come out of executive session.
Second.
Okay. There's a motion on the floor to come out of executive session, and it's seconded by Board Member Carey. And we're going to go to Bogus first.
Apologize. Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Davis, Earls.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Earl's a yes. Green. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. I don't believe Hart's with us. Is that maybe accurate? Hymus is gone as well. Carrie,
Yes.
Lair,
Yes.
Norton,
Yes.
Rill,
Yes.
Straight,
Yes.
Wood, and Moss is not in here. So that's unanimous. I just want to, we have a few that have had to, other things they've attended to, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 votes. And I would entertain a motion from the items on the consent calendar.
Okay, I move that the board approve the UPAC consent calendar.
Okay,
Seconded.
thank you. The motion before the board is that the board approve the UPAC consent calendar. Let's go ahead with votes. So Bogus,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Earl's a yes. Do we have green on? No on green? Okay. Hymus, no, sorry. Carrie,
Yes.
Lear,
Yes.
Norton,
Yes.
Rill,
Yes.
Straight,
Yes.
Wood. Okay, that was unanimous. Go ahead.
Okay, I move that in case 22-1886, the board approves the UPAC recommendation.
Second.
Okay, on case number 221886, the motion is that the board approve the UPAC recommendation. Board Member Wood,
Yes.
Straight,
Yes.
Rill,
Yes.
Norton,
Yes.
Lear, Carrie,
Yes.
Earl is a yes. Davis,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
and Bogus.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, next item, in case number 22-1889, I move that the board accept the UPAC recommendation.
Second.
The motion before the board is that they accept the UPAC recommendation for case number 221889. Bogus,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Earl's a yes. Carrie,
Yes.
Lear,
Yes.
Norton,
Yes.
Rill,
Yes.
Straight,
Yes.
and Wood.
Yes.
Okay, that passes unanimously. Go ahead.
Okay, in case number 22-1891, I move that the board accept UPAC's recommendation.
Second.
The motion before the board is the board accept the UPAC recommendation for case number 221891. And I'm just going to keep going from the top, just so you know you're coming up. So Bogus,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Earl is a yes. Carrie,
Yes.
Lear? Norton?
Yes.
Rill?
Yes.
Straight?
Yes.
Okay, that passes unanimously. Go ahead.
Yes.
I didn't say what. Oh, sorry. I did write your vote down as a yes. My apologies. Okay. Go
In
ahead.
case number 22-1901, I move that the board accept UPAC's recommendation.
Okay.
Second?
The motion before the board is that the board accept the UPAC recommendations for case number 221901. Bogus?
Yes.
Booth?
Yes.
Klein?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Earl is a yes. Carrie?
Yes.
Lear?
Yes.
Norton?
Sorry, yes.
Rill?
Yes.
Straight?
Yes.
And Wood?
Yes.
That passes unanimously. Okay.
In case number 22-1931, I move that the board accept UPAC's recommendation.
Second?
Okay, the motion before the board is that they accept the UPAC recommendation for case number 221913. Did I say that right? 1931.
1931.
Yeah, sorry about that. The case 1931. Say that again. Bogus.
Yes, ma'am.
Booth.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Earl. Carrie.
Yes.
Lear.
Yes.
Norton.
Yes.
Rill.
Real yes.
Straight.
Yes.
Wood.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, in case number 23-1958, I move that the board accept UPAC's recommendation.
Okay, the
And
motion.
second?
Thank you for the second. The motion before the board is they accept the UPAC recommendations for case number 231958. Bogus.
Yes.
Booth.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Earl's a yes. Carrie.
Yes.
Lear.
Yes.
Norton.
Yes.
Rill.
Yes.
Straight.
Yes.
Wood.
Yes.
Moss is not here, sorry. Okay, that's a unanimous vote. Go ahead with the next one.
In case number 23-2037, I move that the board approve UPAC's recommendation.
Second?
The motion before the board is that they accept the UPAC recommendation for case number 232037. Bogus.
Yes.
Booth.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Earl's a yes. Carrie.
Yes.
Lear.
Yes.
Norton.
Yes.
Rill.
Yes.
Straight.
Yes.
Wood.
Yes.
Okay. And next item. Sorry, that was a unanimous vote. I should have said that. The next item is that, are you on that, the committee
Okay,
appointments?
I move that.
Yeah.
Right. I move that the board appoint Cindy Butterfield, serving as an elementary teacher for a 4-year term to the Instructional Materials Commission.
Second?
Okay, the motion before the board is they accept Cindy Butterfield to fill the 4-year position for the Instructional Materials Commission. Bogus.
Yes.
Booth.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Earl is a yes. Carrie.
Yes.
Lear.
Yes.
Norton.
Yes.
Rill.
Real's a yes.
Straight.
Yes.
Wood.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Wood. Okay, another motion?
I move that the board appoint Katsuka
Sorry, I need it.
No?
That, yes, I just need to make, that was passed unanimously. I hope I've done those on the others, but that passed unanimously. Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Okay, no problem. I move that the board appoint Katsuka Christensen as a lay citizen for a 4-year term on the Instructional Materials Commission.
Second.
The motion before the board is that they appoint Keisuke Christensen to the Instructional Materials Commission for 4 years. Bogus,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Klein,
No.
Davis,
Yes.
Earl's a yes. Carrie,
Abstain.
okay. Lear,
Yes.
Norton,
Yes.
Rill,
Yes.
Straight,
Yes.
and Wood.
Yes.
Okay. And unless anybody I guess we can do board member comments unless you want to do a final motion to adjourn. The motion before us is to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Do we have to do those
Aye.
individually? I think it's unanimous. Were there any nays? Okay, have a good weekend. You guys have done great work. Thank
Thank you.
you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank